with the rest, and John Miller and Joe Morgan have the call. We'll see you at midnight.
ESPN, for more than a decade, your home for Major League Baseball.
For 11 years, Seattle was Junior's town. Years of brilliance which put Seattle on the baseball map. But now the tumult and the shouting have died. The kid has gone home. But all is not lost in Junior's old town. For another great star still shines here.
What a shot by A-Rod! I don't believe it!
The Mariners are now A-Rod's team. A team not only with power, but with a better pitching staff. A balance that may solidify Seattle's postseason hopes. But now, in their first game without Griffey, they must battle baseball's greatest pitcher.
Pedro Martinez, strike three! The best pitcher in baseball!
Last year, Pedro dominated the game as only a few ever had. He leads the Red Sox now on a quest for the championship they haven't won since Babe Ruth was the staff ace. The Mariners and Red Sox begin a new century of baseball next. They opened almost everywhere else yesterday, but here in Seattle, it's opening night. The Mariners and the Red Sox about to play ball. And Alex Rodriguez, the big star, with the big welcome from the big crowd moments ago. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Our 11th year of bringing you Major League Baseball on ESPN. Our first in the new century, of course, and we are thrilled to be here tonight because we got a couple of ball clubs that have a lot of excitement surrounding them. Of course, the Red Sox with Pedro, something they might make it to the World Series and even win the series this year for the first time in a long, long while. In Seattle, without Ken Griffey Jr., nonetheless, Mariners fans and many experts around the country think the Mariners should be favored to win the Western Division. What do you think, Joe? Can they win without Griffey?
Well, I think they can, and let's face it, this was, if you have to have someone to succeed Ken Griffey and make it his team, A-Rod is a perfect choice. I think they will be different. I don't think they'll be much better. They'll have to win in a different way. They will win with pitching. They will win with defense, and they will win with A-Rod carrying them. So the pressure will fall on the A-Rod, but I think he can handle it.
All right, we'll see what part of that pitching tonight. Jamie Moyer, who's had a great four-year run, almost as good as Pedro. When you think of the Red Sox, of course you think of Pedro. There's also the great Nomar Garcia-Parra, and he's got a little help in that batting order. A big addition in the offseason, Carl Everett.
Well, I think Carl Everett is one of the top players in baseball. Let's face it, the second half of last season, I thought he was the best player on the Astros ball club. That was because they wouldn't pitch the bag well. But this guy brings a good bat, he brings speed to the lineup, and he brings a good glove to center field. And that's one of the things that the Red Sox needed. They also need someone to hit in front of Garcia-Parra every day, and I think Everett will do the job.
All right. Pedro, though, he's the Red Sox. One of the great pitchers we've seen in a long, long time in baseball. And a pretty good pitcher himself in the old days. Rick Sutcliffe has some comments about Pedro.
John, in Game 5 of the divisional playoffs against Cleveland, Pedro Martinez was hurt more than any of us knew. When he got to the bullpen, he didn't know what he was going to find. He found no velocity, no changeup, so he came up with a cut fastball to take to the mound with it. He knew how important he was to that ball club. Just him being out there was the energy that they needed. 6 no-hit innings later, 8 strikeouts later, Pedro Martinez had the Boston Red Sox headed to New York for the ALCS. Back to you, John.
The big crowd at Safeco Field hoping to see A-Rod take Pedro deep. Can anybody do it? Red Sox Mariners opening night. Stay tuned.
Today, people are sending video mail
instead of email.
This year, the internet will allow
millions of businesses to make phone calls for free.
One day, a business not on the internet will not be in business.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Virtually all internet traffic travels across the systems of one company, Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
Are you ready?
Are you?
Total Control Batting lets you lock onto a pitch and put it where it's needed most. Only in MLB 2001. Rated E for everyone.
PlayStation.
Where would you like to go? How about Pep Boy?
For a limited time, get free installation when you buy Gabriel Pro Rider Premium Shocks for your truck, van, or SUV.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
It's rising. It's baking. It's the new bread at Subway. Baked fresh daily. Try it on your favorite sandwich. After all, if the bread tastes better, the sandwich will too. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Man, I'm hungry.
What, $1 for a sliver of raw fish?
It's sushi.
Sushi? Where I'm from, we call that stuff bait.
What else can you get for just $1?
Well, I can get a 20-minute phone call for only 99 cents.
Quit kidding around.
No, it's true. Dial 10-10-220. It's just 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes.
And just 7 cents a minute after that.
And get this, there's no monthly fee.
10-10-220 really is a great deal.
We know. Hey, you forgot to cook this.
Dial 10-10-220.
You keep an eye on the websites your kids are looking at. You make sure your wife's cell phone battery is fully charged. And you haven't missed a day of work in 12 years. So it comes as no surprise that your auto parts are AC Delco. When the right way is the only way. AC Delco Automotive Parts.
Opening night in Seattle. Safeco Field, the first opening night in this very new ballpark with the retractable roof. The roof is covering the ballpark, but the roof here is really just an umbrella. The elements are all inside other than any rain that might be falling. And right now the elements are crisp. It's a cool, crisp late afternoon here on the Puget Sound. And this is also the first time, in addition to the first opening night in this new ballpark, the first time the Boston Red Sox, the Old Town team, have ever played there. And this is the beginning of the 100th season of the Boston Red Sox franchise. It took them 100 years to get to Safeco Field. Nomar Garcia-Parra seeing this ballpark for the first time, and he is coming back from what an amazing year, hitting .357 last year for Boston. 27 homers, 104 RBIs, even though he had just a laundry list of ailments, one of which put him on the disabled list for a while. The Mariners take the field, and it was last in 1988 that they took the field for an opening day without Ken Griffey Jr. going out to center field. Manager Jimmy Williams of the Sox, who took this ball club a lot further than many expected in each of the last 2 seasons, and they're all putting the heat on him this year, as many, including Sports Illustrated, have picked the Sox to win the World Series this year. Here's the AC Delco Red Sox batting order turned in by Jimmy Williams. Jose Offerman, second base. John Valentin, third base. Carl Everett, the former Astro, in center field, his first game for the Sox. Nomar Garcia-Parra, and he just gets better and better and better. He's hitting cleanup at short. Mike Stanley, first base. Troy O'Leary, 100 RBIs plus last year in left field. The veteran Gary Gaetti, the designated hitter. Jason Varitek is the catcher, hitting eighth. And D-Lou, Darren Lewis, is in right field, batting ninth. On the mound for the Seattle Mariners is Jamie Moyer. And well, we've had all the talk about Pedro Martinez, and rightfully so. Jamie Moyer is a top-notch pitcher with a great changeup. He told us about his changeup.
Having my thumb underneath the ball as if I'm gripping my fastball, it's the same thing, same thought process I have with my fastball. But again, I think, keeping my thumb underneath is very important, because if you don't, it tends to slip out or fall out. So, again, for me, it's just keeping my fingers on top of the ball and getting my hand to the proper release point and going from there.
A lot of pitchers call that a circle change. He calls it a three-finger change, but it's his main pitch. Good fastball. He throws a sinker, and he has a curveball. But he'll have to have his control. I think that's the key to his success, being able to throw strikes and stay ahead of the hitters. Hitters will help him out if he gets ahead, get him to chase a few pitches out of the strike zone. And the defense behind Moyer features Carlos Guillen at third. He was a second baseman when he first came over here. David Bell did a great job last year. And he'll be at third. He's got good soft hands. He's got a good arm. And he's a pretty good defensive infielder. And I think that's why they feel like he can make the adjustment from second to third very easily.
And there's Carlos Guillen. He was one of the key players in the Randy Johnson trade with the Astros, and might have even, in many ball clubs, the starting shortstop. But because the Astros had brought him up as a shortstop, or brought him along as a shortstop, but there has been no room for a new shortstop here in Seattle, at least not so far. Here's Jose Offerman. The Red Sox and Mariners season about to begin, and it's a called strike from Jamie Moyer, 84 miles an hour. For some guys that might be the changeup, but for Jamie, he doesn't get it up there much more quickly than that, but he doesn't need to.
No, his key is to make the ball move, get a little sink on his fastball.
Jose Offerman hit 294 last year. Fastball misses off the outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The roof is covering Safeco Field. It's a cool evening. Temperatures will get down into the 40s. It's a windy evening, and we feel the wind because we're really outdoors with an umbrella over the top. And that's ball 2. 2-1. There's a look at the roof. They opened it for just a brief time after batting practice had concluded. But as we begin the ball game now, we're undercover. Right back to Moyer.
Well, that was the first sinker that he threw. The other 2 fastballs he threw were kind of riding fastballs. But that's the pitch that he needs to use a lot of tonight, the sinker, when he throws his fastball.
Well, you know, Pedro Martinez had a great year last year. As we take another look, Joe.
There you see the rotation. That's a sinking fastball. You see it sink just a little bit and just enough to get off the middle of the bat, and he grounds it right back to the pitcher.
Here now is John Valentin. One of the heroes of that series with the Cleveland Indians last year. In the must-win 3rd game, Valentin hit a couple of big home runs that fueled the Red Sox to victory. I'm talking about Pedro Martinez. We know how great he's been. In the last 3 years, Pedro has won 59 games and lost only 19. Pretty impressive. What doesn't get mentioned a whole lot is that in the last 4 years, Jamie Moyer is 59 and 25. Not many better, other than Pedro Martinez over that stretch, than Jamie Moyer. There's that changeup. Strike 1. There's Martinez. And Joe, we'll see a couple of craftsmen here tonight. Obviously, they're different talent levels. They do it a little bit differently. They both have great changeups. But Jamie Moyer is awfully tough. That cut fastball misses up and in.
Well, they do it differently in that Moyer is more of a finesse pitcher. Pedro is a power pitcher. He overpowers you with his stuff.
Down the left field line, and Valentin could have extra bases. McLemore over to field it, and it will be an easy double, as it turns out, for Valentin. And now the big power comes up. Carl Everett about to make his first regular season appearance with the Red Sox, and Nomar Garcia-Parra right behind him.
Well, the pitch is up. It looks like it's a high fastball. He's thrown a lot of high fastballs, which is surprising when he likes to use the sinker, but he gets the fastball up, and Valentin is a good high fastball hitter. Rips it down the left field line for a double.
So Valentin at second base, and here is Carl Everett. Everett last year had 25 homers, 108 runs batted in. Takes the slider low and outside for ball 1. Hit .325, a career record. The 108 RBI is a career best. He did all of that and spent time on the disabled list with the Astros a year ago. Another breaking ball, misses with it. So he's behind Everett now, 2-0. Rip at that breaking ball. 2-1, and Everett's a little upset with himself that he didn't get it.
Well, he hung that pitch inside a little bit. He was trying to get it away, got it over the inside part of the plate. Everett had a good rip at it. Looks a little bit like Sam Toothpick Jones there with a toothpick in his mouth while he's batting.
You Sewell Washington, the old shortstop of the Royals. 2-1 the count. Low and outside. Now last year we mentioned 108 RBIs for Everett. That's impressive all by itself. But especially so when you consider he only played 123 games last year. And that's one of the reasons he was at his best in spots like this with a man at second or third or both. Just got a piece of that. And the count is 3-2.
Well, that's what Moyer will do to you. It was a 3-1 count, which is normally a fastball count, and especially with Nomar Garciaparra on deck. But he comes with the changeup, and he gets it in the strike zone, and Everett fouls it off. That's how he keeps you off balance, mixing the speeds. Nothing he throws is overpowering, but he mixes speed so well that he can get you out with any of 3 pitches.
The outfield straight away. Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop, shaded toward the middle a bit against Everett. And the changeup too low. And so the Red Sox in this, the first game of their 100th season, have immediately set themselves up nicely for their greatest star, Nomar Garciaparra, as Lou Piniella, the Mariners manager, who might be on the hot seat this year. Many who feel that with the increased payroll, the increased commitment to winning, that Lou better win.
I think there are a lot of managers in that situation around baseball. They're always on the hot seat.
It goes with the job.
Yeah.
2 men on, 1 man out. Here's one of the great players in the game today, Nomar Garciaparra. First ball swinging, left center field. At the warning track. The runners will hold. Well, Nomar went right up there hacking.
Well, but Moyer made a very good pitch, a changeup down and away. And he got him off balance. He still hit it pretty well, but he was off balance. He couldn't drive it out of the ballpark. Watch, good pitch from Moyer. Watch with location. Look at that, down and away. You cannot drive that ball out of the ballpark very often, especially on a changeup, because you have to supply all the power on the changeup.
Now Mike Stanley will come up. Stanley, 281, 19 homers, 72 batted in last year. Now he had not started any one of the first 3 hitters with the changeup, but he did start Garciaparra with the changeup. 2 down now. The catcher Wilson out to have a chat with Jamie Moyer. Now the sun is shining in off the Puget Sound through one of the openings above the upper deck and below the rooftop. So Jamie Moyer standing right in the bright sun, delivering into the shadows here. But he throws a fastball, or rather a changeup for a called strike. I beg your pardon. Unlike an outdoors ballpark, the backdrop is not in the sun, just the pitcher. That's a called strike. 0-2 to Stanley. I don't know, would that throw you, Joe, a little bit of sun out there?
Well, anytime the pitcher is standing in the shadows, what happens here, it's better than having the sunlight on the center field wall. What happens is the ball looks dirtier, that's all. You can still pick it up quickly, but it's dirtier.
0-2 the count. 2 on, 2 out, first inning. Change up off the outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Basically what you're seeing is, see, it comes out of the dark background, it stays in the dark background. So therefore you get, it just looks like it's a dirty baseball. But you can see it much better than you would if it was coming a fastball coming with the sun shining off the center field wall.
Came in with a fastball and it's pulled foul. Well, Stanley, even after seeing all of those changeups, still got out in front of the fastball.
Well, what you do is you're going on the guy's motion, and he just doesn't throw hard enough for a guy like Stanley to get in on him like that, even though he's thrown him a couple of changeups. If he's going to be effective throwing the fastball following the changeup, it has to be away.
37-year-old Jamie Moyer. 2 on, 2 out. Back to the changeup. A-Rod, the second. Bell covering just in time with the force out on Everett, who really hustled. He almost beat that throw. Now the Mariners come up against Pedro. A-Rod due third.
Start your day with Lycos.com. Your home base for everything from fast searches to one-stop shopping. And get whatever it is in the world you want from the World Wide Web. Lycos. Go get it.
Dreyfus presents a continued tradition of tax-smart investment solutions to defend what's yours. The power of you, your advisor, and Dreyfus.
Flexible metal frame. Flex On by Marshawn.
Safeco Field in Seattle, right outside of where the Kingdome used to be, where it had been until about 9 days ago, before they imploded it. Here's the AC Delco batting order for the Seattle Mariners. It'll be Mike Cameron in center field, Mark McLemore left field, Alex Rodriguez at shortstop, John Olerud hitting cleanup at first base. Coming home for Olerud, he's from this area. Edgar Martinez, the DH. John Mabry in right field. David Bell at second base. Dan Wilson, the catcher. And Carlos Guillen is at third base, batting ninth. On the mound for the Red Sox, there is the man who won 23 last year, Pedro Martinez.
And Pedro has all the pitches. Good fastball, good slider, and a great changeup. All of his pitches are #1 pitches for just about any other pitcher. That's why he's such an overpowering pitcher. What he can do to you is he can get you out with his fastball, he can get you out with a slider, or he can get you out with a changeup, even when you're looking for them. That's why he's such a great pitcher. He's able to dominate the hitter with any of those pitches.
Mike Cameron making his Mariners debut. And Cameron pleaded with the media here and the fans and his teammates even to say, hey, I'm not Ken Griffey Jr. I'm a whole different kind of player. Please don't try to compare me with him, who's maybe the best in the game. Sure enough, one of his first at bats in the springtime, he hit one to the warning track that got caught. Came back to the dugout. His teammates all said to him, that would have been gone if it had been Junior. Fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1.
And you see that's what Pedro can do to you. Fastball in, out, up, and down. He can throw it in any direction. He can also change speeds off of the fastball. He gets a changeup every once in a while that'll move in on the right-handed hitters and away from the left-handed hitters.
1 ball, 1 strike. That line's been pretty close on the outside. Joe Brinkman, the home plate umpire. Back to the outside and called strike, and it's 1-2. Lou Piniella said before the game that his advice to his hitters tonight was to be very patient with Pedro. Try and make him throw a lot of pitches.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I don't agree with that. I think what you have to do with Pedro is you have to take one pitch away from him. By that I mean you have to either take the changeup and just say I'm going to leave it alone, take the slider away. You have to take one pitch away from him. You have to say I'm going to hit the fastball. I'm going to hit something hard, meaning fastball slider. Or I'm going to hit something soft, meaning fastball changeup. You can adjust that way. But you can't try to hit all 3 of his pitches, and you wait too long, and then you walk back to the bench with your bat in your hand.
Well, Cameron got him to throw 5 pitches, all fastballs.
Yeah, but that didn't do him any good, did it? No, I mean, I understand Lou's philosophy, and that might work for Lou Piniella, but I'm just telling you that you cannot spot this guy any strikes, because if he gets ahead of you, then he has so many ways to get you out that you'll defend against them all. So again, you just have to give up something to get something. And I think you have to give up a pitch or so in each at bat and take the other ones away from him. There you see Carl Everett defensively, the new center fielder for the Boston Red Sox, and I think he'll be a key man for them this year, not only with his bat but with his glove as well. So I think to approach Pedro, you go up there and you say, okay, first pitch, I'm going to look for something hard. I'm going to look for a fastball or a slider. And I'm going to try to, drive it. Because the deeper you get in the count, the more you have to protect against the changeup.
Mark McLemore is the hitter. As There's a curveball in for a called strike 2. 0-2 the count. Well, Lou Pinella's point was simply he'd like to see him take a lot of pitches, make him throw a lot of pitches, because it's his first start. Maybe he's on a pitch count, and they might get rid of him a little bit earlier.
Well, he's 0-2 now.
That curveball, but he wasn't addressing the best way to hit him.
Okay.
He thinks the best way to beat the Red Sox tonight is to get Pedro out of there as early as possible.
Well, that's probably a good strategy there.
His strategy was not about here's the best way to go up and hit Pedro.
Well, I just
it's almost like he conceded that.
Yeah.
There is no good strategy to hit Pedro, I guess. 1-2 the count. And that's a foul out of play. So I said, you mean, in other words, maybe you can get rid of him in 6-7 innings if he's on a pitch count, if you take some extra pitches. Whatnot. He says, well, 5 is what I had in mind. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But I don't know if even that strategy would work based on what we saw from Pedro last October in that 5th game in the division series with Cleveland. I mean, he was hurt. As he said later, he really knew that he was taking his whole career on the line, that he might have injured himself permanently by going out there, and he threw 97 pitches against Cleveland on a night when the doctor said he might be able to throw 40. That changeup.
But see, that's what happens right there, John. When you get behind Pedro, you take pitches and get behind him, you become defensive. And that's all you do is you just try to put the ball in play, as we saw from McLemore there. That was a very defensive swing. You want to try to hit him early in the count. Try to get something before you get 2 strikes so he can drive the ball.
Well, and they are succeeding here, at least with the first 2 hitters, on making Pedro throw a lot of pitches. McLemore, a veteran, been around a long time. Oh, man. In the dirt. Down on strikes. 2 down, and Alex Rodriguez to the plate. Alex Rodriguez in the final year of his contract, with no guarantee that he'll be a Mariner after this year. He has hit 42 home runs in each of the last 2 years. Last year he did it in only 129 games. Fastball outside. Well, here you got 2 of the greatest in the game, head to head.
Well, John, if you have to choose someone to succeed Griffey as the man, I think A-Rod is the best choice, maybe in all of baseball.
Going outside.
And you can see there is a little more respect paid to Rodriguez than he had with the first 2 hitters. He went right after them. He's trying to make perfect pitches here against A-Rod.
2 great talents, but 2 great competitors, and A-Rod has had a little success with Pedro. 3-0. John Olerud is on deck.
That's interesting right there. You would expect if Ken Griffey Jr. was hitting in this spot that he would have been careful with him. A-Rod's hitting there, and he's being very careful with A-Rod. I think if you're Lou Piniella, you can let him take a hack if you want.
Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Alex Rodriguez, and now John Olerud will make his Mariner debut.
And that's one of the things you're going to have to look at from over the course of the season, John, is how often they will pitch to A-Rod. In the past, you've had Griffey hitting behind A-Rod. He's going to get good pitches to hit. How many times this season are we going to see that scenario play out when the first 2 hitters are retired in the ballgame? Will they walk, pitch around A-Rod without Griffey being behind him?
Well, as great as Rodriguez has been, as fearsome a hitter as he's been, he's never walked more than 59 times in a year.
Well, he'll walk more than 59 this year without Griffey behind him.
Maybe by the All-Star break.
Right. And I think that's something that we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. How A-Rod handles not having Griffey behind him, how their other staffs handle A-Rod without having Griffey behind him.
John Olerud, born in Seattle, went to college here in the state of Washington. For the first time, he's playing for his old hometown team. Too far in. Now we know this guy is going to be patient. He's one of the most patient hitters in the game today. And he, in some ways, kind of set the tone for the Mets lineup last year, which was a very patient lineup. I mean, if you don't throw a strike, he's not swinging. True. Olerud last year walked 125 times. And the guy behind him, Edgar Martinez, is another of the great discerning hitters. And they are making Pedro Martinez work here. He has now thrown 18 pitches in this game. And he has missed the strike zone with each of his last 6 pitches, Joe. Aaron started, then went back. The ball is driven deep into left field, but playable. O'Leary on the warning track. And just like that, the inning is over. No score after 1. O'Leary coming up.
Home sweet home. Home to suffocating hot spots in the living room. Cold spots that make the kitchen feel like a frozen wasteland. And air so humid that, well, stagnant would be a compliment. But that'll change when you call Lennox. We'll clean the air and make every room feel just the way you like it. Lennox, 6,000 dealers, over 100 years of service, one less thing to worry about.
Retirement. If you sign up for an E-Trade IRA, there are no setup or maintenance fees, so more of your money works for you.
Get off our beach, or I'll sick the dogs on you!
Announcing the E-Trade 3-Minute IRA. Now you can make your deposit instantly with no forms and no last-minute rush.
Get his leg!
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
With 1-800-COLLECT, you save a buck or two. So why doesn't everyone use it? You use 1-800-COLLECT to make that call, right? Forgot.
Forgot? You forgot.
1-800-COLLECT. Collect call is so simple. 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Right now at Sonic, get 3 big tastes for just 99 cents each. Try our double-decker Junior Double Cheeseburger, tater tots smothered with cheese, or a creamy single-topping sundae, each just 99 cents this month only.
Sonic America's drive-in.
Headache? Head?
No matter what language you speak, Tylenol is America's most trusted combination of strength and safety. Tylenol.
Prego? Grazie.
Take comfort in our strength.
Imagine a place that understands you'd rather be doing anything on Saturday other than fixing your faucet. A place that knows you can't spend half the weekend shopping for your weekend projects. True Value. For the jobs you do most and look forward to least. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
Safeco Field in Seattle. Opening night for the Mariners and the Red Sox. No score as we start the second inning. Jamie Moyer to face Troy O'Leary. Left-hander against left-hander here. Moyer threw 21 pitches in the first inning. Had to get out of a jam with Garcia Parra and Stanley coming up and 2 men on. But he did get out of it. There's a called strike to O'Leary. Both pitchers had to throw a few pitches in that first inning. Pedro Martinez ended up throwing 19 pitches. John Olerud takes care of it himself. 1 away. Here's an update now from Bill Pito.
John, thank you. Yesterday for Texas, Gabe Kapler hit 2 homers, as did Pudge Rodriguez. And tonight, Rafael Palmeiro, a 3-run shot. He had 47 homers last year. 3-0 Texas right now in the top of the second. Meanwhile, Royals and the Blue Jays. Shannon Stewart, 2 homers yesterday on opening day. And look at this one. With the Blue Jays down 3-2, he hits a solo shot to right. 3 homers for Stewart, tied at 3 from Toronto.
Shannon Stewart has a called strike to Gary Gaetti. 41 years old now, still playing. Did not play successfully very often with the Cubs last year, hitting only .204. Slowly toward third. The end. The dirt pulled out by Olerud. Out number 2. 2 gone here in the second inning. This is our 11th season of covering baseball on ESPN, and this Sunday, April 9th, our 11th season of ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, the slugging Cleveland Indians and the slugging Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I don't see how either team can help but getting into double figures Sunday night, Joe. It looks to me like a 14-12 game. I mean, Roberto Alomar, Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Sandy Alomar, Jose Canseco, Greg Vaughn, Vinny Castillo. He's supposed to play his first game coming off the DL. Fred McGriff. Here is Jason Varitek, the switch hitter, taking a called strike. He kind of blossomed last year. He was not the opening day catcher for the Red Sox, but as the season went along, he began playing more and more. Hit 21 homers, and they like the way he handles the pitching staff as well. And they think that he can hit more than 21 homers. No score in the game. We're in the second. 2 down, nobody on. Came in with that fastball. 0-2.
Well, one of the things that makes Moria effective, John, is he will throw the fastball. Even though it's not his best pitch, I mean, he will still throw it to set up the changeup, and you have to throw it.
Off the outside with the changeup. Well, he was a well-traveled pitcher. He's been a draft choice of the Cubs out of college. He went to St. Joseph's University. Went to the Orioles in 1993, won 12 ball games there. Actually came to the Mariners from the Red Sox in a trade during the 1996 season. And he's had nothing but success here in Seattle. Strike 3 call. Got him looking at a fastball at the knees. 3 up and 3 down. Edgar Martinez coming up against Pedro when we return.
Is your asthma really under control?
Yeah. But sometimes I wheeze.
Ever wake up short of breath?
I do.
Use your fast-acting inhaler more than twice a week.
I use mine every day.
If that's what you call control, ask your doctor if prescription Flovent is right for you. Flovent twice a day helps control the inflammation that can cause asthma symptoms in the first place and helps improve lung function. Flovent won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden attacks. People switching from an oral steroid like prednisone to Flovent, an inhaled steroid, need to be especially careful. While adjusting to the switch, your body is not as able to heal after surgery, infection, or serious injury. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve.
Now this is control.
Call 1-800-426-7929 today for a $5 rebate and a free asthma workbook so you and your doctor can determine if your asthma is really under control. That's 1-800-426-7929. Flovent, helping you define asthma control.
Discover the amazing hitting secrets of America's finest baseball school in Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing 2. Tommy Mansky's powerful teaching video that features the same revolutionary techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches have been simply amazed at their students' rapid week-by-week improvement. These award-winning techniques benefit players of all ages and ability levels and make a valuable addition to any coach's library and a great gift. At just $29.95, call now.
Careful with it. What is going on? There you go. There it is, guys. That's great. Hold on a second. What are you doing? Okay. Oh my God. There. Who's first? Yeah. Ladies first.
I'm not eating that.
Bill Pedro back in the studio from Milwaukee and the Reds. Dimitri Young starting in place of the injured Sean Casey. Had an RBI yesterday and tonight with the Reds down 1-0 in the 5th. He goes the other way, a solo home run. Ken Griffey to this point 0 for 2.
John Miller and Joe Morgan back with you at Safeco Field in Seattle. Last of the second inning. No score in the game, and here is Edgar Martinez. He's been one of the Mariner great favorites here. I mean, it's just a great hitter. Dusty Baker, the manager of the Giants, when interleague play first began, and Dusty knows a lot about hitting, and he said this may be the best right-handed hitter, all-around hitter in the game today. And every year, Edgar goes out and makes Dusty look right.
But he is definitely a great hitter, very patient hitter, can handle all the pitches.
Takes a strike. Rick Sutcliffe, former Cy Young winners, here with us tonight, studying Pedro. Rick?
John, I'm right down here behind home plate. I noticed that Edgar Martinez has an elbow pad on. He knows that sometime during the course of the night, Pedro Martinez is coming inside.
Curveball misses Judy. He used to come inside a lot and used to have almost once every other outing he'd have a battle on his hands with somebody.
If I were a hitter against Pedro Martinez, I'd wear any kind of gear I could possibly get up to home plate.
Yeah, Pedro Martinez is obviously a man after Rick Sutcliffe's own heart. Guy who will throw inside. 2-1 the count. Edgar, during spring training about a week ago, got hit by a pitch in an exhibition game and only had 2 at-bats in exhibition play since that time. That was on Saturday here in Seattle. It's the inside corner with a fastball there. 2-2 to Edgar. And Edgar, after he took his swings, though, on Saturday, the elbow tightened up on it. But he took batting practice tonight and told Piniella that he was able to play. Jammed him. It's a pop-up. Shallow right. Darren Lewis, and there is 1 away. A look at Safeco Field.
Here's Martinez. He kind of pulls his arms in a little bit there. It didn't look like he had a free swing at that. It was a good pitch in on the hands anyway, but when Pedro comes inside with his good fastball, you have to get the barrel out there very quickly.
John Mabry now. And he is the first Mariner to swing at the first pitch from Pedro Martinez tonight. We've all been following Lou Piniella's advice to make him throw a lot of pitches and get him out of the game early. Pedro has thrown 25 pitches now for the game. Pretty good movement on that fastball, and pretty impressive speed, 96 miles an hour, and just like that, it's 0-2.
Well, he has the ability to start the fastball off the plate inside of these left-handed hitters and let it just lean back over the inside corner. The opposite. That one doesn't come back. Tries to get you to chase something.
Jay Buhner, who has never even hit a fair ball against Pedro Martinez, is missing his first opening day starting assignment in 9 years. 1-2. Change-up. That's 3 strikeouts now for Pedro.
John, I often say that it takes 20 at-bats before you establish a pattern against someone, unless you have like 8 strikeouts and 8 at-bats. There you see the changeup that moves away from the left-hander. See, he throws the changeup. See, that pitch is moving away. It's not just the speed that gets you, the movement gets you as well. That is a great changeup. But he has a great fastball and a great slider.
2 down. There's that slider you're talking about. Off the outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
John, you mentioned, in his early years, he used to come inside a lot, and hitters thought he was throwing at them, and, and he would have some altercations every once in a while. And I remember Philippe Alou saying that it really wasn't that he was throwing at hitters. He was just trying to establish the inside corner, and he didn't know how to do it. He didn't have the great command that he has now. Now when he comes inside, he's just barely off the plate, or he just barely misses inside.
Just off the outside there with that fastball.
It takes a while for pitchers to learn to pitch inside. Every pitcher just doesn't automatically know how to pitch inside or how far to move the ball off the plate. And I think that's why he had a lot of problems early in his career, but now he's under complete control.
Well, Bell was thinking fastball on 2-0. He got it, but that didn't mean he could hit it. 2-1.
That's the great thing about Pedro. He can fall behind 2-0 and just let it go, and you can't catch up with it, even though you're looking for a fastball.
Strike 2 call on the outside. That's the other thing about Pedro, though. It was 2-0. He knew Bell's thinking fastball. He gave him the fastball, and it really wasn't even in the strike zone. 2-2. Remember, it's a cool night here. Temperatures in the 40s. Going outside, 3-2, as again the Mariners display that patience and making Pedro throw a lot of pitches here, relatively speaking, early on. Three and 2 the count. 33 pitches thrown now by Pedro. And another strikeout. He's got 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. No score in the game. We head to the 3rd.
Okay,
Okay, DJ, I'm ready for you. What's the game?
I'll see boomerangs.
Boomerangs? I think I prefer football.
So what are you doing here?
I came here for the big juicy steaks. How about you?
I want that shrimp on the barbie.
Let's go eat.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse.
They're back.
Got any books I might like?
What did you have in mind?
Homer's Odyssey in the original 5th century Greek.
Attic, Doric, or Ionic dialect?
How's that possible?
I have every edition of every book ever published in every language.
Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
Well, talk to me about change.
Okay.
Seemed earlier in your career you seemed to struggle with larger bills, 10s, 20s.
I just wanted to pour Coors Light. It's never been about the money for me. If someone wants to give me exact change, fine. But I just really try and take it one beer at a time.
Yeah. Your rookie year, you spilled an entire beer on top of a little old blue-haired lady while trying to break a 10. You're ridiculed in the press. Took you to a pretty dark place.
Beer man doesn't want to talk about that.
Why on earth would an airline remove rows of seats from all their planes? Oh, that's why. American Airlines introduces more room throughout coach. Soon, we'll have more room for more coach passengers than any other airline, row after row after row. On American, coach has more class.
This ESPN Baseball Special is brought to you by Killian's Irish Red, which reminds you one look says a lot, and by American Airlines American Eagle, something special in the air.
The first opening night at the brand new Safeco Field in Seattle. And two ball clubs expected to be contenders in the American League going head-to-head. Jamie Moyer outside for ball one to Darren Lewis, the 9th place hitter in the Red Sox order. He'll be followed by leadoff man Jose Offerman and then John Ballantyne. Jamie Moyer. And when you think of Moyer, you always think of his changeup. That one is just a little bit. No, just a little bit in the strike zone. One ball, one strike. Jamie, as a kid, the guy that he looked up to, the guy who was his hero on the inside corner for a strike 1 and 2 was Larry Boa.
Jamie Moyer?
Yeah. I mean, here is a left-handed guy, and he wanted to be Larry Boa.
Wanted to play shortstop.
So it never turned out for him. He ended up being a pitcher instead, but at least Larry Boa is now the third base coach on Jamie Moyer's team. It's an interesting combination. Larry Boa, there's Larry, coaching third base for Lou Piniella.
Yes.
It could be some lively nights here at Safeco Field.
I saw Mike Schmidt about 3 weeks ago, and he says, can you imagine Larry Boa and Lou Piniella in the same dugout? I said, could be tough sometimes.
You know, the home plate and first base umpires better bring some cotton when they work here at Safeco Field. 3-2 the count now to, or rather 2-2 the count to Darren Lewis. Got in on him. That's a foul. Wilson. And there's one away. Now let's go to Bill Pito for an update.
John, we have a Bobby Bonilla sighting. He's starting in left tonight for Atlanta. Of course, the disastrous year last year with the Mets. Hitches 160 with 4 home runs, and looky here. Bobby Bo over the wall and right with a man on, and the Braves lead the Rockies 2-0.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Bo ended up having a pretty good year. He's in very good shape. And remember, he was never healthy at any time last year.
Or the year before. So you're right. I expect him to do very well. He can still swing the bat.
Yeah. Here is Jose Offerman. That's a called strike, and so too apparently can Andres Galarraga.
The big cat went deep.
Gato Grande, home run. Big fly, and it was a game winner. Not just any big fly. Any big fly would have been enough.
Yeah.
But he broke up a zero. He broke up a classic duel against Pedro Estacio. The game-winning homer late in that game yesterday. Leadoff man Jose Offerman takes a strike at the outside. Offerman a switch hitter. Unlike his teammate Carl Everett, Offerman is batting right-handed against Moyer. Everett batted left-handed. And it was first time.
And it was the first time he's ever faced Moyer, which was surprising.
Down on strikes is Offerman. Second strikeout for Moyer. 2 down, nobody on, and John Valentin coming up. Well, baseball is back, and Saturday at 7 in the morning Eastern Time on ESPN Classic. We'll celebrate the opening of the baseball season with the greatest games in World Series history. 40 straight 8 hours, 40 straight 48. I'm shorting them. 48 straight hours of classic World Series games. ESPN Classic. So Joe, don't be calling me on Saturday.
Well, it'll be 4 o'clock in the morning on the coast, John.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm just saying. You always call me at 4 a.m. Not this Saturday. 1-1 now to John Valentin. He doubled his first time. 48 straight hours. What I'm trying to say. Classic World Series. That's a foul. 1-2 to Valentin. We'll show the '69 Miracle Mets, Joe. The Yankees, Kirk Gibson's Dodgers, great Atlanta teams of the '90s, and the Big Red Machine.
I like that.
Yeah. That's where Joe starts saying, you know, it is ESPN Classic.
Every time I see that series, I find something that I'd forgotten about.
Which series was that?
The '75 series with the Red Sox.
That was pretty good.
With these same Red Sox.
Game 6 was pretty impressive, I remember. One ball, 2 strikes to Valentin. Everett would be next. 2 down, nobody on. Change up. Alex Rodriguez in the dirt, and Olerud saves the error. No score. Pedro heads back to the hill to face the bottom of the order. We'll be back.
Discover the AccuView 2 contact lens. So natural, it feels like you're wearing nothing at all. Call us for a free trial pair certificate or visit your eye care professional.
Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires. Now at Pep Boys, all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for only $99, and all 70,000-mile tires 4 for $169.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
Right now at Sonic, get 3 big tastes for just 99 cents each. Try our double-decker Junior Double Cheeseburger, tater tots smothered with cheese, or a creamy single-topping sundae, each just 99 cents this month only.
Sonic America's driving.
When you want to return your car super fast, Hertz Instant Return is exactly what you need. Because sometimes you just can't get home fast enough. Hertz Freedom rates for AAA members, only $26.99 a day in the U.S.
Guys, come and see my castle.
With the freedom to pick up and drop off anytime. Just keep it over a Saturday night. Hertz will provide the great rates.
What castle?
The rest is up to you.
This is sacred ground. This ranch has been in the Stevens family for 75 years. I know. I've helped 3 generations hold on to it.
Tom Rose, AXA Advisors.
The only way to keep a business successful and in the family is with smart planning.
AXA Advisors, part of a global company helping 40 million people.
It's tough out here. The weather, beef prices, and there's an uncle named Sam who always gets his cut.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
We want the kids to appreciate nature.
Springtime is absolutely perfect for that.
They love to fish. They love to go bike riding. Is this a good one? I do all my shopping at Walmart.
Sleeping bags, stoves, lanterns. It's almost like having your home out in the camping area.
They've got everything you need for the yard.
And my golf game.
I don't know if they have everything you need for that.
We know that they have what we're looking for. You know you can't beat the prices.
All kinds of fresh ideas to welcome spring at your neighborhood Walmart.
This is just the best time of year.
Opening night in Seattle, the Red Sox and the Mariners. The Mariners home opener, and the 8th place hitter Carlos Guillen. In fact, that obviously is not Carlos Guillen. That's Dan Wilson. An apparent switch in the batting order from what was given to us. So it is Wilson hitting 8th and then Guillen on deck. I was almost going to say, wow, Carlos Guillen could be Dan Wilson's twin brother.
Actually, it makes sense, John, because you want, speed, like having 2 leadoff hitters in a row. Guillen hitting 9th would be, like starting as another leadoff hitter.
That would make a lot of sense if you were thinking that the guys would actually get on base. Whoa, man. Look at that curveball from Pedro. Check swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dan Wilson. Wilson didn't hit the home runs like Ivan Rodriguez, but he is one of the best receivers in the American League. Balls a strong game. A high, hard one, and he's gone. Our colleague Rick Sutcliffe keeping an eye on Pedro tonight. Rick?
John, when Pedro Martinez has hitters that will cover the outer half of the plate, he's more than glad to come inside and move him. That's what happened with Mark McLemore. There he's diving. Get off the plate. Now Edgar Martinez, he's just going to simply get him out in there. Now, if you're not going to cover it, Pedro will just simply take that freebie on the outside corner. David Bell, Mike Cameron. I really look for Edgar Martinez to make an adjustment the next time up. Maybe look for something middle in.
All right, Rick, and Pedro goes to work on Carlos Guillen, and that is ball 1. This is the 9th hitter in the order for the Mariners. Pedro's finishing his first time through the order. 8 of them have taken his first pitch. There's the changeup, and Guillen didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. And most of those 9 guys have taken the first 2 or 3 pitches.
And 5 of those guys have taken a back-to-back to the back track, too.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that's a foul on the changeup. 1 ball, 2 strike. Yeah, he struck out the first 2 hitters of the game, Cameron and McLemore. And he has struck out the last 3 that he's faced. Mabry and Bell to end the 2nd, and Wilson to start the 3rd. He, of course, set a major league record for strikeouts per 9 innings pitched by a starting pitcher last year. Too far in. He broke the record that had been set by the former Mariner. The big unit, Randy Johnson, back in 1995. Well, they've been patient early in the count, but all of his strikeouts, they've been hacking. The blue man slipping in center field is ended. I don't know if he's going to get to it anyway, but he slipped on the grass out there and never got anywhere near it. That's the first hit against Pedro.
It's going to be a difficult play for him to make because the ball was right off the end of the bat, and it kind of fell out there in no man's land for the first base hit. Watch how far this ball goes out. I mean, see, Everett, he slips, but I don't know if he would have had time to get in to make that play. In fact, Garcia Parra gets closest to it.
Now the leadoff man, Mike Cameron, comes up. He struck out his first time, but he did make Pedro throw 5 pitches before so doing. Remember when Ted Williams became a big league manager for a while with the old Washington Senators, he had Eddie Brinkman hit leadoff, and he told Eddie, he says, I don't care what you do in the at-bat, but if you can make the pitcher go to a 3-2 count, then you did your job. Nick can throw his pitches, give the other hitters a chance to study him a little bit, study his movement, maybe what else he's featuring that day. The thing was is that all of the 5 pitches he threw to Cameron the first time, they're all fastball.
Yeah, so you didn't get a chance to see anything else.
Only one of the first 9 Mariner hitters saw fewer than 4 pitches the first time through. So that was the edict, the mandate for the Mariners tonight from their manager Lou Piniella. Grinder blowing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And maybe the approaches that they took last year in games against Pedro didn't work. So he said, hey, I'll try a different approach this year.
Well, the approaches they've taken against Pedro since he's been in the league have not worked.
Yeah.
I mean, he has just shut down the Mariners. They've never beaten him. They've hardly ever hit him. Runner going down the right field line, foul, and back into the box seats down there. And that's part of what Lou Piniella was talking about this spring. The Mariners will have a little bit of a different look without Ken Griffey Jr. and in this bigger ballpark than the Kingdome used to be. Of course, every ballpark is bigger than the Kingdome used to be. But a little more hitting and running, more playing for 1 run, and more trying to manufacture runs.
But John, one of the things we've noticed, there you see Ken Griffey Jr. and his his son's names on the bricks, along with thousands of others.
The house their father built, it was purchased by a friend. They used the money from the purchase of those bricks out there they were going to use the money to fund a baseball museum here at Safeco Field. One of the little ironies, and there's a sign out there in the center field bleachers. Some fans were a little angry at Ken Griffey Jr. for leaving the Mariners, but there's some fans out there who want to send their thanks to Jr. for the great memories. 1 and 2. Change up. And down goes Cameron for the 2nd time. That's 6 for Pedro.
And you can see the changeup. He grips it, release it, and then you get some movement on the changeup. It's not what they typically call a straight change. This is a changeup with movement. Look at the movement. That ball drops down, and the speed gets you, and also the break gets you.
Now here's McLemore. He struck out his first time. Guillen still at first. Stanley on the bag with him as he runs back to the bag, and the throw by Pedro.
John, of all the new ballparks, I think this one gives a pitcher a better chance of pitching to certain parts of the ballpark. This is really a fair ballpark. You have to hit the ball well to get it out of here under normal circumstances.
The changeup off the outside.
This is not like Camden Yards. This is not like a lot of the newer ballparks. This one you really have to hit the ball, so it gives you a chance to play for 1-run style of baseball. You get good pitching, good defense, and as Lou Piniella says, he can hit and run. He can do a few things to manufacture runs, and they're going to have to do that with the loss of Junior's bat.
Right back with the changeup again. 1 ball and 1 strike. That was the 49th pitch thrown by Pedro Martinez on a windy night with temperatures in the 40s. Jimmy Williams, the Red Sox manager, Tommy Harper, one of his coaches, alongside. It'll be interesting to see how many pitches he'll let Pedro throw tonight in his first outing of the year. Back to the changeup again. 3 straight changeups he's thrown to McLemore. 2-1 the count. Although Pedro seems to be one of those guys, Joe, with Guillen at first, 2 down here. When he's behind in the count, in some ways he still has you at his mercy.
Well, because you can't, even if you sit and look for the fastball, he can still get that by you, and he still will on occasion throw an off-speed pitch. Here he'll come with the fastball because he's missed with 2 changeups.
Down the left field line. And that ends the inning. So Pedro's given up 1 hit. He's got 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. Everett and Garcia Parra coming up. No score.
Welcome, Miss Planet contestant.
Hey, Beer Man!
Oh, it's the last one. Ladies, tell me briefly why you deserve this frost-brewed Coors Light.
Because the silver can shines like a beacon of freedom.
Like the first Coors Light, I am pure and also born in the mountains.
Yes, you are.
I deserve the Coors Light because I said so.
We have a winner.
She's the one.
Whoa, cool.
Cool site?
Cool site?
What's this cool? What's this cool?
Cool what?
Cool site? What's it cool?
Quotesmith.com.
Quotesmith.com?
Quotesmith.com.
It's insurance.
Cool insurance?
Over 300 companies.
I'm hot for this.
Instant is good.
And the best quote is...
Graphics are totally lame. Yeah, but the quotes will blow you away.
Quotesmith.com. Have you ever said
cool
to insurance?
I have the goosebumps.
They call it the Blue Monster. This course is hard enough under perfect conditions. If my muscles are sore, forget it. So before I tee off, my doctor told me to take Advil.
Doctors recommend Advil for muscle pain. They like the way Advil works, right at the site of pain, stopping it where it starts.
For my sore muscles, nothing's better. It also works great on headaches.
Advanced medicine for pain.
Total Control Batting lets you lock onto a pitch and put it where it's needed most. Only in MLB 2001. Rated E for everyone.
PlayStation.
Lucky termites. They think they're getting a free lunch. They're really getting their just desserts. Call 1-800-TERMINEX for termite protection with Centricon. Termites. That free lunch is more like your last meal. 1-800-TERMINEX. No bugs, no hassles.
This belonged to the pitchers for 3 innings in Seattle. Red Sox nothing, Mariners nothing. We start the 4th inning. Jamie Moyer to face the big hitters in the Sox order. Carl Everett, Nomar Garcia-Parra, and then Mike Stanley. Everett walked his first time. Remember, he's a switch hitter, batting left-handed. It was 0-1. He had a pretty good rip at that. A 91-mile-an-hour swing, but the pitch kind of floated in there much more slowly. On the outside, 0-2.
I've seen left-handers hit left-handed against some left-handed pitchers simply because they want to take the changeup away or the good sinker ball away or the screwball in the case of, say, Fernando Valenzuela.
Strike 3 called on the outside. Got him looking on 3 pitches. Everett is gone.
But what happens is you go over there looking for those pitches and a pitcher's smart enough to give you the fastball. I mean, you go with all fastballs right there. You threw the high fastball, and then a good fastball. Fastball for strike 3. He threw him a couple of high fastballs, and then he goes with another fastball.
1 down, 3 strikeouts for Moyer. As we understand it, Everett in the National League would often bat left-handed against Tom Glavine and Steve Avery. Left-handers who also feature a pretty good changeup. Saw the ball better.
But I can understand that against Avery, but Glavine throws pretty hard. So if you get over there, you better be prepared to swing at the fastball as well.
Nomar fouls one back out of play. Nomar is 0 for 1. He flied out to left center on a first pitch changeup from Moyer. Moyer, since he was in that jam 2 on 1 out in the first inning, has retired 9 consecutive Red Sox. In the back door with the breaking ball missing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 7, in fact none of the last 8 hitters since Garcia-Parra's fly ball have hit the ball out of the infield against Moyer. Changeup. Playing him in the hole was A-Rod. A low throw, but Olerud able to reach out and grab it just above the dirt for out number 2. And family night out here for opening night. Bring the kids out. I mean, there's only one opening day in the history of a ballpark, right?
That's true.
Here's Stanley. And we're here to cover it.
Right.
Griffey, his first game in Cincy yesterday. Who was there to cover it?
For 5 innings, we did a good job.
What there wasn't.
We covered it.
Sunday, when the Indians are in St. Petersburg to take on the Devil Rays, who's going to be there to cover it? At 8 Eastern, we'll be there. And those 4 big home run hitters, Safeco, Castilla, Greg Vaughn, and McGriff all homer in the same game together for the first time? Who will be there to cover? That curveball is hit deep into left center field. It is into the alleyway. McLemore grabs it on the hop, and Stanley makes it into second with a stand-up double.
But, John, that tells you how hard it is to hit the ball out of here. Stanley drilled that ball and it didn't even get to the warning track. The ball just does not carry here nearly as well as it does in a lot of ballparks, and especially in the Kingdom. I mean, this is a hanging breaking ball. I mean, he drills it. I mean, Stanley's a pretty strong guy, and he drills it. He thinks he gets enough of it when he hits it to maybe get it off the wall. Look at that. It doesn't even hit the warning track.
Well, you know, that's the spot from there and straight across center field. Last year when we were in here,
they said the ball didn't carry there, right?
Yeah, the ball just would not go. Here's Troy O'Leary trying to get an RBI. And remember, with a guy like Pedro Martinez on the mound, every run could be the game-winning run. So this is a big moment in this game.
I watched Troy O'Leary the first at bat, and he ran up. Well, he kind of pitter-patted in the batter's box to hit the curveball. He did the same thing on that particular pitch and took it. He's trying to time the delivery and the speed of Warriors pitches.
Check swing. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanley at second. Red Sox have 2 hits, both of them doubles. There's a guy who was a great hitter in his time. Many think deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. Jim Rice. One-time MVP with the Red Sox, 1978. Now the hitting instructor. Fastball just missed it. 2-1.
Jim Rice was a great hitter. It was not just for power. He hit for average. Drove in a lot of runs. Really just a smart hitter.
The year he won the MVP had 46 homers. Hit about 325 and 15 triples. He swung at it. Third base umpire Alfonso Marquez on the appeal, ruling the swing. 2-2. Runner at second, 2 down. No score, 4th inning. Stanley, not a whole lot of speed, ready to go with anything from second. Strike 3. 1 man left. Alex Rodriguez coming up. No score.
Watch NHL tonight on ESPN2.
Freeze. Cute. Use 1-800-COLLECT. It's cheap, it's easy. The cheap part is you save a buck or two. The easy part is
1-800-COLLECT, as in collect calls. Now that's easy to remember.
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
It's rising. It's baking. It's the new bread at Subway. Baked fresh daily. Try it on your favorite sandwich. After all, if the bread tastes better, the sandwich will too. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Labor ready. Dependable temporary labor.
Enemy submarine torpedo in the water!
On April 21st,
Die! Die! Die!
your pulse will race.
I can't even believe the dude!
Your heart will pound.
He's still going down!
You won't come up for air.
You're the only chance we've got.
Until it's over. Mary, Mother of God.
Right now we die!
U-571, rated PG-13, starts Friday, April 21st at theaters everywhere.
Well, hey, Mr. Palmer, how can I help you?
Hi, Bill. Time to rotate those tires. Cooper Tires.
Bill Pedro back in the studio. The Astros at Pittsburgh rained out yesterday, but playing tonight. Bases loaded for Richard Hidalgo in the 6th inning, and it is way out of here. Grand slam. It's now 5-zip Houston at the bottom of the 7th.
It's Alex Rodriguez and Pedro Martinez, two of the best in the game, head-to-head, as we start the last half of the 4th inning. No score. The Red Sox, no runs, 2 hits. The Mariners, no runs, 1 hit. Rodriguez walked his first time on 4 pitches. And he spins a slider in there for a called strike. The Mariners, up and down the lineup, with just one exception, have taken the first pitch from Pedro all night long. Time taken. That pitch, by the way, was the 52nd thrown by Pedro Martinez. You see the totals. He had 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. As ever, the dominant one. Slider off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Lou Pinella's idea was to be patient, hope that he's on a pitch count, get him out of there early. And I guess then the idea, Joe, go ahead and beat the bullpen. Ooh, man. That one took off on the inside and glanced off the bat for a foul.
Interesting how he's pitched A-Rod this at bat. First at bat, he threw him all fastballs and walked him on 4 pitches. He's thrown 2 curveballs or sliders. Now he comes inside with a fastball and checks his swing, but he fouls it off.
That one really ran in there.
If he fouls his pattern, this would be a breaking ball.
He went the high hard one.
That was just, I think that was to straighten him up. You can usually tell how they want to get a guy out by the 2nd pitch that they throw. You know, I think he wants to get there. There it is. Ball.
Did he swing?
Yeah.
No. First base umpire Jeff Nelson says no.
Well, Veritek definitely thought he swung.
Jimmy Williams thought so.
Yeah. I mean, it appeared to me that he swung too. Let's take a look. Very close, but he did. The barrel of the bat did seem like it went forward, but it looks that way in slow motion.
3-2 now. A-Rod asks for time.
That's why this pitch here is why Martinez is so tough. I knew he wanted to get him out with a breaking ball, so he threw it to him 2-2. But will he go back to it 3-2?
He could.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
He did.
That's the point. See, he's got so many good pitches that he can get you out with anything. At least he feels he can.
Well, and A-Rod told us something interesting, because everybody says he got 3 dominant pitches as we look at that last one again.
Well, I don't know if that was that might have been a cut fastball. It might have been a slider. That wasn't really the slider.
Oh, that was the fast one. No question. And that makes 7 strikeouts. And that was quite a duel there between Pedro Martinez and Alex Rodriguez, but Pedro has prevailed. 1 gone. All 7 of his strikeouts have been on swinging 3rd strikes. Now here, as we see, number 7 is a guy who's one of the most patient hitters in the game, not just the Mariners lineup. John Olerud, the changeup is low, but he is the only Mariner batter tonight to see less than 4 pitches against Pedro. Fastball right at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Olerud went down on a 2-0 count. He hit a fly ball to left field his first time. Otherwise, they've made Pedro work. And that breaking ball drops in there for a called strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Edgar Martinez on deck. No score, last of the 4th. Time taken, Olerud backs away. Well, Pedro closing in on 60 pitches now for the game. Fastball. And it handcuffs Garcia-Parra and is through. Man, he hit that one hard.
Well, John Olerud uses the entire field. There's a fastball tailing away, and he goes the other way with it. So he just reaches out there and lines it in front of Garciaparra. Garciaparra tries to backhand it, but it hits in front of him and skips on into the outfield for a base hit.
Well, we got all of these machines that measure how hard the pitch is thrown, how hard the batter swings. I like to see how hard that ball left the bag. He hit it hard. Here's Edgar Martinez. He flied out to shallow right his first time. And the ball was boring right in on his hands. And his slider is in there for a strike. Nothing to nothing in the fourth inning. The base hit by Olerud, the second hit for the Mariners. There's Jamie Moyer. He's given up only 2 hits. Thus far, he has matched Pedro Martinez 0 for 0. Off the glove of Varitek. And that puts Olerud at second, the first Mariner to reach second base in this one. Now Varitek out to talk to Pedro.
Well, it just appeared that he wanted the fastball inside, and he threw it away, and he didn't get back out there quick enough. See, there's a lot of movement on that ball as well. But it looked like he was looking for a fastball, but he was wanting it inside, and he threw it outside.
Varitek out there talking to Pedro. They've got him out at second for the first time in this game on the pass ball. And the other thing now, Joe, you got a left-handed hitter on deck, Mabry. But a guy who hit .244 last year, and you got one of the great hitters in the game, albeit a right-handed hitter, at the plate right now. And the Red Sox have conversations going on all over the field.
Well, the right fielder, Darren Lewis, has come all the way in.
Darren Lewis is, yeah, he's running across the foul line. He's going into the dugout now. There's Darren.
Maybe needs some sunglasses out there because the sun is in right field there. You see, if you get a shot of right field, he would be standing out there in the sun. Right in here, there's the sun field, so he probably needs some sunglasses. And because it was the evening game, yeah, that's what he did. He went in to get sunglasses.
So he's looking right into the setting sun out there at this point. We haven't had a whole lot of sunlight today in Seattle. Coming up tomorrow, a Wednesday night baseball doubleheader at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. It's the Cubs and Sammy Sosa, the Cardinals, and hopefully Mark McGwire if he's able. Then at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2, it's the Yankees and the Angels. Back to Edgar and Pedro. No swing. So Jeff Nelson is twice gone with the no swing in this inning.
Well, that one wasn't close. Edgar he basically left the barrel of the bat back. His hands went forward, but he kept the barrel of the bat back.
Edgar trying to put the Mariners ahead. Olerud at second, 1 out. Low. But he got first base open.
Well, you do, John, but when you're a guy like Pedro, you think you can get anybody out at any time. In most cases, he can.
Yeah, he thinks it, and we all think it.
Yeah, so he's not going to give in and give him a good pitch to hit, but he's not going to intentionally walk him either. He's not going to pitch around him, I should say.
That's Olerud at second. Fastball. Well, he came right after him on 3-1.
Well, he knows that he's got good enough stuff to get any hitter out at any time. So he's just not going to say, okay, I'm going to give in and try to get the next hitter out. Take a look at Edgar's swing, and you can see that a little pain there in his left elbow still bothers him a little bit. He's not getting quite the extension that he normally gets.
Edgar, a lifetime .320 hitter. Two-time batting champion. Ooh, look at that. Change-up. Got him looking.
Not only was that a changeup, John, that was a hard changeup with movement. That ball started middle of the plate, looked like, and just moved in on his hands. Watch where this pitch starts. Look at that. Just tails right in on him. And, I mean, that's a hard changeup. I mean, that was a hard changeup. That wasn't his normal changeup.
Well, that's 8 strikeouts now for Pedro in 3 2/3 innings.
So you see, that's why he doesn't pitch around anyone. He thinks he can get anyone at any time, even when he's behind in the count, and even if it is Edgar Martinez. That's the confidence that he has on the mound.
I mean, I really thought once he got to 3-1 that Edgar wouldn't see another strike. Here's Mabry. A strike. He didn't think so, though.
And, John, in most cases, any other pitcher, you were probably correct in that situation. But Pedro's not like that. He says, I can get anyone out, I'm going to go after him.
0-1 the count. Fastball too far in. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was the 70th pitch thrown now by Pedro Martinez. Joe Kerrigan, Red Sox pitching coach, told our Rick Sutcliffe before the game that once Pedro got up around 105 pitches or so, they would probably get him out of there. Oh, the changeup. Changeup, fastball in the hands, changeup again. 1-2. Well, he's about 70% of the way to that 105 pitch total. And that was Lou Pinella's plan tonight. Trying to get him to what he was thinking probably would be a pitch count and get him out of there. Oh,
man.
Hello.
That's great pitching right there.
He got Mabry talking to himself. That's 9 strikeouts for Pedro. 7 in the last 3 innings. No score.
Hello.
Top of the 5th inning from the beautiful new Safeco Field in Seattle opening night. And it's belonged to the pitchers up till now, just as we suspected it might end up going. It is Moyer and Pedro. No score into the 5th. Gary Gaetti leads it off and fouls one away. It is 0-1. Gary Gaetti grounded out to third his first time. Gaetti played in his first opening day all the way back in 1982. That's when the Metrodome was the newest stadium in baseball. That's sort of like back in baseball's Middle Ages. And here's Gaetti, still there, trying to get his bat going as a member of the Red Sox. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, opening day at Safeco Field, the first opener in this new ballpark, and among the dignitaries here tonight to celebrate the opener with the Mariners is the Commissioner of Baseball, Bud Selig, who has joined us here in the booth. Mr. Commissioner, welcome.
John, Joe, how are you? Nice to see both of you.
Good, you're back from Japan, huh?
Yes. Joe, lately John, I've been waking up in the mornings. I'm not sure where I am, but I am back, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Is this your first time in this ballpark?
No, I was here for the opener last July 15th, and somehow tonight with the roof and the open space on the back, it's really a magnificent setting. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you know, it's really a Seattle ballpark, right? Because it's outdoors, no matter what the circumstances.
Absolutely.
But if there's rain, they put up the umbrella.
Well, you know, John, I was thinking that I was down in the field, and Chuck Armstrong, the Mariners president, said to me, we're going to close the roof. There's a storm coming. And I thought to myself, all those years that I paced worrying about weather, but I had no roof to close. So I just had to sit there and take whatever happened.
Now, have you seen any of the other new ballparks that have or are opening this year?
Well, you know, I was at Pac Bell with you, as a matter of fact, last Friday for the Willie Mays celebration.
That one is driven deep into right field. Mabry back to the wall, and he makes the catch in the sunlight. Gaetti gave one a long ride to the Boeing sign in right field, and Mabry's able to catch up to it. One away.
And I must admit, the Pac Bell ballpark was magnificent. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be in Houston Friday night to open their park. And I'm going to be in Detroit next Tuesday to open their ballpark, so I'm looking forward to it. This is really a great time for baseball.
It's Enron Field in Houston and Comerica Park in Detroit.
Right.
There's ball 1 to Jason Varitek. Now, a lot of people are talking about the Mariners without Griffey maybe being favored to win the American League West, and some people feel with Pedro and Carl Everett now, the Red Sox might win it all this year. Jamie Moyer makes a nice play to get Veritek. That's out number 2. Do you handicap the races? I mean, who do you like?
No, I try not to do that. I noticed that the Red Sox were picked it, and I just told Dan Duquette, I said, gee, I see some people picking you, but he didn't want to even talk about it. And he's a protege of mine because he worked for me in Milwaukee, so I could tell that he was nervous about that. But that's the great part of this time of the year. I mean, I think the races are shaping up. If you break each race down, we have a potential to have great races in every division this year, and that's the ultimate, obviously.
That's baseball heaven for a baseball fan, as Darren Lewis stands in. Now, is there change on the horizon? Are we going to have a little bit of realignment for next year? There's a lot of talk that Arizona will move to the American League.
Well, there's been no decision made. We're working on a series of things. I'll tell you what we're trying to accomplish, Joe. We want to go back to an unbalanced schedule. You know, they went to division play in 1969. And we couldn't make the schedules work out 24 years ago, and we wound up playing more games outside our division than inside of it. We need to go back to an unbalanced schedule. That's the way it should be. You ought to be able to beat the guys that you're really trying to.
And that means
we're going to rotate the divisions in interleague play.
But that would mean, in other words, unbalanced schedule. The Red Sox and Yankees would play each other more often.
Probably 18 times a year. That's okay. Giants and Dodgers. And that's exactly right. And so that would be, I think, the most critical part of it. And to affect that, we're going to rotate the divisions in interleague play. And to do that, we're going to have some modest realignment, probably 2 clubs switching, and that's the thing that we've been working on. And
when will that be determined?
In the next 2 or 3 months, John. I'm not sure. We have one thing about making up new schedule, though. We have the best schedule for 2001 I've ever seen.
Darren Lewis over to third. Guillen throws him out. And that's the inning. Still scoreless. Commissioner of Baseball, Bud Selig, nice to see you. And here we go. The 2000 season underway.
Look forward to it and see you guys a lot during the year. Good luck.
Thanks, Bud. No score.
Frost brewed Coors Light. Nice choice.
Thanks.
Nothing like some ice cold Rocky Mountain perfection to wet your whistle.
Yeah, you sure know a lot about beer. Come here often?
I haven't missed a game yet.
Really? Whoa. Could this get any better? Wow.
You're spilling your beer.
She's a beer man.
Your beer.
Whoa.
Right now at Sonic, get 3 big tastes for just 99 cents each. Try our double-decker Junior Double Cheeseburger, tater tots smothered with cheese, or a creamy single-topping sundae, each just 99 cents this month only.
Sonic America's driving.
Discover the AccuView 2 contact lens. So natural, it feels like you're wearing nothing at all. Call us for a free trial pair certificate or visit your eye care professional.
AOL membership gives you more benefits, and it's never been easier.
It's very easy to use. Anyone can use it.
AOL parental controls help safeguard your kids.
Customer service at AOL is fabulous.
Email, buddy lists. AOL has got it all.
America Online. Sign up today.
Pedro Martinez with 9 strikeouts in 4 innings to work, and there's only the second Mariner hitter of the night to swing at the first pitch. David Bell didn't do him any good. He is gone. Here are the 9 strikeouts we're talking about.
And I think the interesting thing, John, is most of them are on swinging strikes. They say they're trying to be patient, but you see they're going out of the strike zone. Once he gets ahead of you in the count, that's what he gets you to do, go out of the strike zone. There's a call strike. That's the only one. The rest of them were swinging strikes, and most of them were out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
But with 2 strikes, you do not have a lot of time to make sure it is a strike when Pedro's throwing.
Now Dan Wilson, after Bell's quick out, Wilson struck out his first time. Only 2 hitters. Wilson is the 17th batter of the game, and only 2 of the 17 hitters have swung at the first pitch from Pedro Martinez. 1 ball, 1 strike now.
Well, one thing you mentioned, they have had him throw a few pitches, but they haven't been able to score any runs.
1 ball, 1 strike. You know, Joe, the Yankees have kind of, I think because of their success, started making it real fashionable to be real patient, take pitches, get the count deep, because that's been part of their attack these last couple of years especially. That is rolling up the first base side, and foul. Pedro grabbed it just as it rolled to the foul side of the line.
And John, I think that's a good philosophy against most pitchers. But you have some special pitchers who, like a guy like Randy Johnson, like Pedro Martinez, who strike out a lot of hitters. You do not want to fall behind them in the count. You want to be patient in that you want to try to get a strike to hit, but you do not want to stand there and try to go deep in the count against those types of pitchers.
But now if they get Pedro out of the game after 6 innings, if he's on a pitch count, and it appears that he is, then Pinella's strategy perhaps will work from that point of view, rather than the point of view of being the best way to get a hit against Pedro. So you're always just thinking about how to get a hit against the guy.
No, I'm thinking about trying to win the game, and I think you have to score runs to win. And the way to score runs is to be aggressive.
There's a guy, John Olerud, they can count on to be patient all year long. 3-2.
But the thing about Olerud is that he is aggressive within the strike zone. See, that's the key right there. He's attacked the ball twice. He got a 2-0 pitch. He hit it to left field. He got a base hit the other way. But he's aggressive, but in the strike zone. That's the key.
So maybe the best pitch you're going to see from Pedro in an at-bat might be the first one.
Maybe the first one. It's kind of like, you know, when Phil Niekro and guys throw knuckleballs. You try to get the first good knuckleball you see that you can hit, and you hit it. You don't want to wait and get 2 strikes where they're going to really make it dance.
Carlos Guillen, he's got one of the 2 hits against Pedro, and that's ball 1. No score, last of the 5th. Martinez has 10 strikeouts. It's the 55th time in his career that he's had 10 strikeouts or more in a game.
And he's got 10 and 4 and a third.
10 and 4 and a third. Yeah. There's 10 and then there's 10 and 4 and a third.
Yeah.
Last year in 29 starts, he had 10 or more strikeouts 19 times out of 29 starts. Just missing. 2-0. I mean, he had over 300 strikeouts last year, and he only pitched 213-something innings.
He was on the disabled list for a while. Just imagine.
On the outside for a strike. 2-1 now. Alex Rodriguez got some coffee in the dugout, and it's cool here tonight, especially for guys that just come from the desert down in Arizona. Oh, the changeup. 2-2. 50 degrees at game time, but I don't think it's 50 degrees now. And there's a lot of wind that is whipping around inside this ballpark. Yeah, it's a night to bring your blankets. I'm listening to Dave Niehaus on the Mariners radio network inside here. Popular Mariner broadcaster since the first days in the Kingdome. 2-2 the count. 9th place hitter Guillen. Strike 3 call. Pedro's got 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. Top of the order coming for the Red Sox. Offerman, Valentin, and Everett. We're still scoreless.
Keep an eye on the websites your kids are looking at. You make sure your wife's cell phone battery is fully charged. And you haven't missed a day of work in 12 years. So it comes as no surprise that your auto parts are AC Delco. When the right way is the only way. AC Delco Automotive Parts.
Head ache. Head.
No matter what language you speak, Tylenol is America's most trusted combination of strength and safety. Tylenol.
Prego?
Grazie. Take comfort in our strength.
Dreyfus Tax Smart Investment Solutions. The power of you, your advisor, and Dreyfus.
I don't know where you're putting this dip, but I'll tell you.
We're waiting for Grammy.
Where's Grammy?
In London.
We're waiting for the rates to go down.
You know, with AT&T's international plan, you could call now.
But we want the low rate.
You'd get their low rate all day, every day.
To the UK?
Wherever.
She won't answer it.
She thinks it's too early.
They'll be laughing about this for years.
Oh, yeah.
Great rates to the world, all day, every day. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Red Sox nothing, Mariners nothing. Let's go to our colleague, Rick Sutcliffe.
Well, John, Jamie Moyer will pitch in mostly for effect when he has to. He'll come in just to try to keep you honest, show you he's got enough to get inside on you, as he does here with Troy O'Leary, but he's going to consistently get you out of the way. I was there in Chicago when Greg Maddux and Jamie Moyer came up at the same time, and Dallas Green actually put their lockers beside me. I hope I didn't mess them up too much, but they were a lot alike. Both very intelligent, knew how to dissect a hitter. The only thing is, Maddox's control came before Moyer's did.
Thanks, Rick. As Jose Offerman, the Red Sox leadoff man, takes the ball outside. That's an interesting point, though, because Moyer, I mean, he's got different kind of stuff than Maddux. On the other hand, he's not overpowering anybody out there either. Caught in center by Cameron. And that's one thing. I mean, Griffey was great in every aspect of the game, but Cameron is, if anything, equally as good in center field. I mean, many thought he was the best in the National League, right up there anyway with Andrew Jones of Atlanta last year. One gone, Offerman retired. Here's Valentin. Moyer, I mean, Pedro has just been spectacular tonight. Moyer's matched him 0 for 0. There's a base hit for Valentin. He's got 2 of the Red Sox 3 hits, and now the power's coming up again with Everett and then Garcia Parra.
Valentin, a good fastball hitter, especially a high fastball. This one's not that high, but it's up and out over the plate a little bit. He grounds it right back through the middle for a base hit. Good first ball fastball hitter.
Carl Everett, again, he's a switch hitter, but tonight batting left-handed against the left-hander.
Well, he struck out last time on 3 good fastballs. So if you're Moyer, you've got to change that pattern, throw him some changeups, or you can try to go to your curveball and breaking ball.
Valentin at first. Right on the outside. It's 0-1.
That's a good slider from Moyer.
For a long time, Everett was considered a liability against left-handed pitchers. He always was a much better hitter batting left-handed, but he kind of turned that around the last couple of years in Houston. That's a foul on a play off to the left. But when he did play, he used to be a platoon player. Throw a lefty, Everett would sit. But tonight he's making his debut for the Red Sox, and it's kind of ironic. This great new Red Sox addition, the guy they're counting upon for a big year. He's batting lefty against a lefty. 0-2. Garcia Parra on deck. Popped him up, foul, and that'll go back out of play. By the way, I'm keeping an eye on Olerud over there at first base, and he's kind of playing around with Valentin over there, the runner, doing what he used to do for Bobby Valentine in the Mets. He's playing off the bag and then bluffing back toward the bag. Ordinarily, you'll see a first baseman just get right on the bag with a runner. He's going to hold against him.
Well, what he does, what he accomplishes, is he's already in the fielding position, and he doesn't have to be moving off the bag and try to jump into that position.
There's a good look at what he's doing over there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And one of the reasons you think that Everett would hit left-handed against Moyer is to try to take away the changeup, but the pitch before was a changeup. on 2 strikes, and he popped it up. And a lot of times left-handers do not like to throw other left-handed hitters change-ups because they don't see the ball as quick, so they don't jump at it like a right-handed hitter would.
Change-ups in the dirt.
So left-hander just doesn't see the ball as quickly, so he's going to wait a little bit longer. Therefore, he sees the ball go out of the zone. Whereas a right-handed hitter sees it quickly out of his hand, and a lot of times he'll chase pitches out of the strike zone.
2-2. Full count. Everett is really battling here, almost a battle of wits and nerves as much as the physical battle. 3-2. Is Valentin running from first, Joe?
Well, I would say no. They haven't been running him. You know, he doesn't run that often. He usually tries to sneak away on you. 3-2. The defense will be waiting for it.
He is not running. Center field, Cameron can't get there. He got a little bit of a late break on it. So Everett with a base hit, and that puts 2 men on for the big cleanup man, Nomar Garciaparra.
Well, what happens here, John, is that ball starts to tail away from him, as well as the fact that he didn't get a great jump. Watch. See, he's not moving. See, he's kind of hesitated for a second, but the ball also tailed away from him in the left center field. But he definitely didn't get a good jump on it.
This is the second time in the game that the Red Sox have had 2 men on with 1 man out, and Nomar Garciaparra coming up. And while they visited the mound, we'll tell you that Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN2, it's the brand new Baseball Today, ESPN's newest baseball studio show, with live reports from all of Sunday's biggest games. ESPN.com users can have their baseball questions answered as well. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Check it out. Our colleague Buck Martinez, part of the program. Now the Mariner bullpen is getting busy. Right-hander Paul Abbott starts to warm up. Pitching coach Brian Price goes back to the dugout. 2 men on. Here's Garciaparra. And the breaking ball. Strike 1. Well, Moyer's been living dangerously with Nomar tonight. 2 of the Red Sox best threats have seen Garciaparra at the plate. The first time he flied out on the first pitch he saw. He grounded out to short in the 4th inning with nobody on base. Now he'll try it again. American League batting champion Nomar Garciaparra.
And it's a tough situation for Moyer because Garciaparra has already had 2 at-bats. He's seen the changeup and he's seen the fastball, so he's seen all of his pitches basically. Does a good job of throwing that changeup down and away. Gets him to go after it.
Mabry in shallow right. So Garciaparra pops out. The runners had to hold. 2 down. And now Mike Stanley.
And the location on that pitch was about as perfect as you can get to a hitter like Garciaparra, and he got him to chase it. And it's a little flare to right field.
Jamie Moyer is at 84 pitches for the game. And of course he'd gone past 100 pitches in the Cactus League during spring training, so he's well within his bounds at this point. Pedro Martinez, by the way, is also at 84 pitches through 5 innings. Here's Stanley. He has hit into a force play with 2 men on to end the 1st inning. He also hit a double in the 4th inning to left center. The soft one outside. Pedro Martinez, 5 innings, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 2 hits given up. But all he's gotten for it up till now is a tie. Red Sox looking for the clutch hit. They have gone 0 for 4 in their few at-bats with a man in scoring position. Just off the outside again. 2-0. Now this is a big pitch, a critical pitch. Troy O'Leary on deck. Valentin at second. Everett at first. Both will be off and running at the crack of the bat with 2 down. No score in the game. Here it comes. And he missed with the fastball. It's 3-0.
That was a good pitch there by Moyer in that situation because he wanted to get Stanley to chase that, and that was the best sinker he's thrown this entire ball game. He didn't want to give in to Stanley right there, so he threw him the fastball that he probably thought he was looking for, but he had really good movement on him.
Stanley showed the patience of a veteran there. Oh, look at that. 3-0.
Well,
given the green light, and he threw him a changeup.
Well, he knew he was swinging, and with O'Leary, the left-hander on deck, he just throws him the changeup. And he says, if I walk him, I walk him. If he swings at it, maybe I can get him to hit it off the bat, into the bat, and hit a little ground ball someplace.
3-1. Still Stanley's count right now. Weir steps off the slab. In fact, I think, Joe, he really would have preferred he hit it off the other bat. He's not in much better shape now at 3-1 than he was at 3-0. All right. Well, maybe just throw him another one now. It worked on 3-0. Ooh. Wow, that was close.
Well, he threw him another one.
The change up. This time Stanley took it, got the walk, and for the first time in this game, there is a runner as far as third base. And they got Lou Piniella pacing in the dugout.
Well, last time at bat, I think O'Leary called himself out. He had a check swing and just walked away before Brinkman even called him out.
That was with a runner at second and 2 down in the 4th inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. Too high. There is Valentin, who had singled at third base. Everett, who singled at second. Stanley, who has just walked at first. 2 down, 6th inning. And of course, the real problem here for the Mariners is that not just a run might score here, they might get a few. That's a called strike with a changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is a potentially lethal at bat. Troy O'Leary, who drove in 103 runs last year, 28 homers. Chopped slowly. Tough play. Bell. Deep. The Red Sox go ahead 1-0. Valentin scores.
Good hustle by O'Leary. He got out of the box pretty well on that swing. Bell made the play. He just beat it at first base. Olaru's deep, so he can't come get it. So he starts after he realizes I can't get there. Gets back. Bell flips. Nice play, but you can see that O'Leary beats the play clearly at first base. That's a play where maybe Roberto Alomar might have tried to throw that ball out of his glove without transferring it. The transfer time is what cost him the play at first base. But it's not an easy play to make.
Now Gary Gaetti. And again, this very dangerous situation for Moyer. Got him swinging at that low changeup for strike 1. 1-0. Boston has broken through here in the 6th inning. And they did it fittingly enough on this night that's belonged to the pitchers with about a 90-foot single. Popped up. Shallow right. Mabry calls off Bell. But the Red Sox have the run for Pedro. Will it be enough? The top of the order coming for Seattle.
And our Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed is so relaxing.
It may even temporarily provide relief from my low back pain, Harry. Yet it costs up to 56% less than a quality flatbed.
I adjust my head and feet and fall right to sleep.
Call toll-free to get free information by mail about the Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed. This wonderful bed adjusts to hundreds of relaxing positions, offers optional warm, soothing heat, and relaxing built-in massage, yet costs up to 56% less than these quality flatbeds. Up to 56% less. Don't pay more to remain flat. Call toll-free and get complete free facts by mail about the adjustable bed that costs up to 56% less.
Call to get Craftmatic's free catalog right away. There's absolutely no obligation.
Call toll-free 1-800-544-1000. That's 1-800-544-1000, toll-free. 1-800-544-1000.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting instructional video. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same techniques that produced his back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Collegiate Baseball Magazine's editor calls it a masterpiece, the best drill video ever produced. This video is endorsed by top professionals like superstar Fred McGriff.
This is the instructional video that gets results.
The Defensive Drills video benefits players of all ages and ability levels and makes a great gift too, so call now.
Well, I believe in the soul. The small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good scotch. I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe there should be a constitutional amendment outlawing AstroTurf and the designated hitter. I believe in the sweet spot, and I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days. Good night.
Oh, my.
Baseball Tonight, every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN.
Bill Pito back in the studio. The Rockies and the Braves. It's Atlanta up by the score of 3-2, but the bases are loaded for Jeff Cirillo, his first year in Colorado, and he comes through. Fair ball goes into the corner. All three runners come in to score, and on that play, the Rockies take the lead by the score of 5-3.
Red Sox 1, Seattle nothing. We go to the last of the sixth inning. Pedro Martinez has been dominant as usual. Rick Sutcliffe, our colleague, he talked to Pedro's pitching coach, Joe Kerrigan, before the game about a pitch count. Rick, what did he tell you?
He told me it'd be up around the 105 mark, and particularly after the top of the sixth inning, Pedro's sitting around a long time. Red Sox scored a run, but he may stiffen up.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on him. That's Rick Sutcliffe, former Cy Young winner, here with us tonight. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Ball one to leadoff man Mike Cameron. That was the 85th pitch thrown by Pedro in this game. And now significantly, there's ball two, so he starts behind the leadoff man here with a couple of sliders.
Well, I think he's gone more to the breaking ball, you know, as the game has progressed. He's used it a little bit more. But Cameron's also a real good fastball hitter, and he doesn't handle a breaking ball as well.
Came right in with that fastball. It's soared into shallow center. Everett, one away. No leadoff batter for either team has reached base in this game, and we're in the sixth inning. One gone, and McLemore comes up. Now, they'd like to really get somebody on base, and somebody like McLemore who can make some things happen on the base pad, because Alex Rodriguez is on deck. But Pedro has only allowed 3 men to reach base in this game, and only one has gotten as far as second base against Pedro. That breaking ball, low and in for ball one. McLemore is struck out and flied to left. One to nothing. Boston ahead in the sixth. Right back to Martinez. And that is out number 2. Rick, are you with us?
Yes, I am. John, it's pretty obvious to me sitting behind home plate here that the game plan for Pedro Martinez tonight is not to let Alex Rodriguez beat him. He almost intentionally walked him in the first at bat. That was a 3-2 breaking ball with nobody on, and then he expanded his zone up. He didn't care if he walked A-Rod once again in that situation. I think it's a pretty good game plan. This guy can hurt you.
And he's a guy who could tie up this ball game with one swing of his bat. He has hit a home run in the past against Pedro Martinez. A little bit low. He has walked and struck out, as Rick Sutcliffe mentioned, in this game. 2 down, nobody on. That was only, by the way, the 6th pitch of this inning for Pedro. Change up too low. Okay. He had just passed 90 pitches. Maybe he has a real quick inning. Should be able to come back for another, despite the pitch limit that they've talked about tonight with it. That one floated through there for a called strike. 2-1 to Alex Rodriguez. Throwing the changeup on 2-0. Rodriguez, who has never done much on an opening day game. Fastball is low, which is ironic, as great as he is. Including tonight, he has had 2 hits in 20 opening day at-bats in his career. This is his 5th opening day. Nomar Garcia-Parra, the Red Sox great shortstop, same thing, has never done anything in an opener. 1 for 16 in his opening day starts, including 0 for 3 tonight. Go figure. Well, that's ball 4, the second time that Alex Rodriguez has walked tonight. The only 2 walks allowed by Pedro Martinez.
Yeah. That's what he's done this whole game.
2 down, and here is John Olerud, who has flied to left and singled to left, just out of the reach of Garcia-Parra at shortstop. One of only 2 hits allowed by Pedro Martinez. Now, Alex Rodriguez, one of the few 40-40 men in baseball history. I mean, he's capable of stealing a base. That's ball 1 with 2 down. It might not be a bad play if he thinks he can get a jump, Joe.
Well, if he can get a good jump, I think he's probably going to try.
And the way Pedro's going right now, the odds of driving Alex home from first base don't seem to be very strong. Well, now he's going to try it. Veritek recovers. He's in there. He didn't have to steal it.
Just looked like the ball has a lot of movement on it, and the ball got away from Veritek. I don't think he was crossed up. It just looked like it had a lot of movement on it.
Veritek committed a pass ball back in the 4th inning, allowing Olerud to get to second base. And another pass ball allowing A-Rod to get there. Blew it by Olerud right in under the hands with the fastball. 2-1. And isn't that ironic? The only 2 times the Mariners have gotten a man into scoring position has been on a pass ball. John Olerud, who's had one of those 2 hits. A base hit now could tie the game. Ooh, just a little bit high with that breaking ball. 3-1. Edgar Martinez, the 2-time batting champion, on deck. In fact, the Mariners have 3 batting champions in their batting order. A-Rod's 1-1. Olerud's 1-1. Edgar's 1-2. A-Rod at second. Garcia-Parra right behind him. That is caught at first by Stanley. So Pedro has shut them down through 6. 1-0 Red Sox as we head to the 7th.
When I wanted to start my own firm, she was there. When I wanted to buy out my partners, she was there. And when I finally wanted to retire, she was there. She's always been there for me. I want to make sure I'm always there for her.
At Lincoln Financial Group, we offer clear, understandable estate planning solutions to help you protect and preserve the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
Okay, DJ, I'm ready for you. What's the game?
I'll see boomerangs.
Boomerangs? I think I prefer football.
So what are you doing here?
I came here for the big juicy steaks. How about you?
I want that shrimp on the Barbie.
Let's go eat.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse.
They're back.
Hey, dogs! Come on, dogs! Get up!
Inevitably, there will come a time in your life when you realize you need a cell phone. And when that time comes, we'll be here.
We want the kids to appreciate nature.
Springtime is absolutely perfect for that.
They love to fish. They love to go bike riding. Is this a good one? I do all my shopping at Walmart.
Sleeping bags, stoves, lanterns. It's almost like having your home out in the camping area.
They've got everything you need for the yard.
And my golf game.
I don't know if they have everything you need for that.
We know that they have what we're looking for. You know you can't beat the prices.
All kinds of fresh ideas to welcome spring at your neighborhood Walmart.
This is just the best time of year.
It's a new concept in light beer. 103 calories from different walks of life, coming together for the sake of the team. Introducing crisp, easy-drinking Beck's Light.
The Mariner fans out there in the bullpen pub out beneath the hand-operated scoreboard in left field, just behind the left field wall, getting a look in almost bunker-like conditions out there. As Jamie Moyer out for the 7th inning delivers ball 1 to the 8th place hitter Jason Varitek. 1-0 the Red Sox lead as we start the 7th. And that changeup is too low. 2 balls and no strikes. Varitek has struck out looking, and he's bounced one back to Moyer. Darren Lewis on deck, and then leadoff man Jose Offerman due up 3rd. 1 run, 5 hits for Boston. No runs, 2 hits for Seattle. By the way, at the end of the 6th inning, Pedro Martinez, Joe, had thrown 99 pitches. So Joe Kerrigan had told Rick Sutcliffe about 105 pitches would be the limit they'd like to see him hit tonight. If that's the case, you'd think that he would be finished now.
Well, that's a decision they have to make. I mean, what's the difference between 105 and 110 would be my question. I can understand they don't want him to get up around 120, 25, 30 pitches, but
that's ball 4 to Varitek, a leadoff walk, and he is the first leadoff man to reach base in this game. In fact, the Red Sox bullpen is busy. That's Garces, the right-hander, and Real Cormier, the left-hander. And that's the view they get from the bullpen pub of that bullpen. Bullpen pub looks like our kind of place, Joe. Darren Lewis, the hitter. Varitek at first. Lewis shows bunt, takes up and away. Ball 1. We're having one of these classic kind of games here, aren't we? Where they used to play them a little more often.
Well, this stadium allows that to happen, and I think it's not going to be there's not going to be as many home runs hit here as in some of the other newer ballparks, and I think you're going to have to struggle for runs. Plus, we've seen 2 pretty good pitchers tonight on top of their games.
Now Moyer, you wonder if he's starting to fade a little bit. Lou Pinella's heading out as he goes to the mound. Here's the virtual tour of Safeco Field. Let's take a look at these dimensions. 331 down the line, 388 at the deep left center, 405 to straightaway center. Big part of the ballpark again out in right center, 326 down the line. So it's deeper to every part of the ballpark than the Kingdome used to be. That virtual tour of Safeco Field, courtesy of ESPN The Games, which will be debuting this summer. Check it out. Now, you think Lou Pinella's out there eyeball to eyeball with Jamie Moyer to find out how much he's got left?
Well, he asked Jamie if he was okay, and Jamie assured him that he could continue, and Lou kind of gave him a nod like, okay, go get him.
Abbott and Paniagua, both right-handers, up in the Seattle bullpen. 2-0 the count to Lewis. Runner at first. He's going to bunt again, and again Moyer misses. That'd drive you nuts if you're Lou Piniella, wouldn't it? I mean, this guy's trying to make an out, and Moyer is not able to get the ball over the plate.
Well, the problem is he walks, and then you probably would have you may have Offerman bunting, trying to get 2 runners in scoring position.
It's a strike, 3-1.
This is an interesting situation here. I never like to give up an out when you got a hitter, the pitcher in the hole, 3-1. You know, it's a situation where you may want to put a hit and run on. You may want to do a lot of things. But it just depends on whether Jimmy is determined to get that one more run or not.
Well, if I'm managing, I'm putting the hit and run on.
That's what I would do.
Jason, take off, baby. He's not running. They're going for the 1 run. Olerud thought about throwing to second. Got the sure out at first with Bell covering. And the sacrifices work. Lou Piniella is wearing a microphone tonight. When he went to the mound to talk to Moyer, let's go back. Here's what he said.
About had it?
Huh?
About had it? Huh? Gotta get the ball over the plate. Are you all right? You sure? All right, let's go.
All right. He about had it. No, he's fine, he says. Or you're going to have to get the ball over the plate.
Well, that's actually what a manager is looking for a guy to be aggressively want to stay in the ball game, to show him I want to stay here and be aggressive, and just tell him, as Jamie Moyer did. He gave all the right answers, so he got a chance to stay in the ball game.
Jose Offerman with a man in scoring position. 1 out. Offerman is 0 for 3 in the game. Base hit. Down the line. Varitek will score. Offerman trying for 2. He'll make it there easily. And that leadoff walk has turned into a run. And that prompts Lou Piniella up out of the dugout again. So it is 2-0 Boston. Offerman, who drove in 69 runs last year, although he most often hit leadoff, gets his first hit and his first RBI of the season right here. And a big one, because Pedro has been shutting down the Mariners. The question becomes, are the Red Sox going to shut down Pedro here shortly? That's all for Moyer, and we'll be right back.
What kind of beer you got? Food?
Anything else?
Haydn's Cello Concerto in C major.
Which performance? Gorski, Piatti, or Chin?
How's that possible?
Our jukebox is every performance by every artist of every piece of music ever recorded.
Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
Dreyfus has partnered with some of the world's leading asset managers. Put their strength to work for you. The power of you, your advisor, and Dreyfus.
They say that nothing remains constant except change itself. At New York Life, we see the world a little differently. The values with which we started, financial strength in our products, integrity and humanity in our dealings, remain the unshakable foundation of the company today. That they will be our values tomorrow, no matter what it looks like, is why New York Life is the company you keep.
NASCAR's top drivers buckle up for some push and shove racing as they try to claim the checkered flag on the shortest track in the Winston Cup Series, Martinsville Speedway. The Goodies Body Pain 500, Sunday at 1 on ESPN.
Lou Piniella now hoping that his Red Sox, or that his Mariners, are going to be able to affect the comeback late in the game. Jamie Moyer gives up a couple of runs here in the last 2 innings, 6 1/3 total. As we take a look at the Outback Steakhouse pitching summary. And for Pedro Martinez, the question is he also finished? Will he even come out for the last of the 7th, having thrown 99 pitches for the game? Red Sox bullpen is busy. On to pitch now, Paul Abbott, a right-hander. There's Pedro, wearing the jacket in the Boston dugout. But as soon as he finished his last inning, the Red Sox got their bullpen out. There's Paul Abbott. Did a pretty good job for the Mariners last year as both a starter and reliever. Tough to hit. 72 2/3 innings pitched, 50 hits allowed. He comes on with Offerman at second and 1 out. Ballington at the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Jamie Moyer with 106 pitches thrown, and once he got up past 80 pitches, I don't know if it was the pitch count, Joe, or maybe just the fact that they were in the 3rd time through the batting. I mean, Jamie's only got so many ways to fool a hitter, right?
That's true. I mean,
popped up, shallow right field, Bell out, Mabry in, Mabry got it.
Good play there by Mabry. He had a long way to go to get to that ball. The infield was swung around the other way, so it was a long run for Bell and also a long run for Olerud to be able to get there. So good job there by Mabry. See how far he comes for that ball. He comes all the way from right center field to almost foul territory. He makes a nice play.
So 2 men are gone, and here is Carl Everett with a chance to get an RBI. Everett has walked, struck out, and singled. That was a big play, his single in the 6th inning. With Valentin at first and 1 out, he hit a liner to center, and Cameron froze initially, did not get a jump on it, and it fell in front of him. That helped lead to the Red Sox first run. They lead now 2-0 as we play the 7th. Paul Abbott, after a visit from catcher Dan Wilson, now goes to work against Everett. Remember, Everett, as you see what the Mariners really, their bullpen torched Moyer's ERA last year. Changed up, and it's 0-1.
If the Red Sox are able to push this run across, you may have seen the last of Pedro. You may have seen the last of him anyway, but I guarantee if they get one more run, he'll probably call it an evening.
Another changeup. 0-2.
That's actually a good splitter that he's throwing as his changeup.
2 strikes to count. Last year, Moyer left 19 runners on base when he handed it to the bullpen, and the bullpen allowed 13 of those 19 men to score. Terrible.
It's pouring gas on the fire, isn't it?
Man. The bullpen lost 8 games. I mean, when the bullpen actually got charged with a loss when they came in for Moyer last year. Well, if he'd been in a club with a real strong bullpen behind him, he might have won 20. If it was, he won 14. 1-2 the count. Offerman at second. It's slowly to second. Bell. That's the inning. Garcia-Parra will have to wait until the next inning. Well, let's see if Pedro's coming out. We go to the last of the 7th. Edgar Martinez coming up. 2-0 Boston.
How do you get rid of ugly stains on ceiling tiles? You simply spray them away. Incredible? It's true with Instagon. Just spray it on and the stain is gone. No scrubbing, no rubbing. This textured ceiling is almost impossible, but Instagon gets rid of the problem in no time. Amazing! Don't scrub bathroom tiles. Even that grungy caulking comes sparkling clean with Instagon. What about stucco? Instagon gets into all those crevices and dissolves the grime away. It removes years of soot from fireplace walls and cleans PVC lawn furniture without any scrubbing. Ugly mildew? Gone in seconds. Instagon works safely, works instantly on all these surfaces, and it's yours for only $19.95. But call now and get 2 for $19.95. Order now.
To order Instagon, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-931-4800 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-931-4800.
If you have thinning hair, you can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now. I could control the way my body looks, but not my hair. I was very confused about what to do when I started losing my hair. I didn't know where to start. I was looking for some real answers, and I got them from Hair Club's latest hair loss research update. It gave me the facts that I needed to make the right decision about my thinning hair. Now that I have my hair back, I'm glad I made that call. You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio, Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
This ESPN baseball special is brought to you by Lycos. Find it quicker and easier on the net with Lycos. Get it at www.lycos.com. And by Ortho Weed Be Gone. Kills lawn weeds without harming the lawn. Leave it to Ortho.
Here's Pedro Martinez with his 100th pitch of the night. Edgar Martinez drives it, but it's going to be caught by Everett over toward left center, and there is one away.
I think that shows right there that he can't get great extension, because it looked like he hit that ball pretty well, but he didn't get a lot of drive on it. Let's take a look at the extension. See how he's not getting good extension there with his left arm, and I'm sure that's because the elbow's bothering him a little bit from spring training, but that ball got out there and died.
Edgar got hit in the elbow the other day in the spring training game. Had only 2 more at-bats in the last week until tonight. Here's John Mabry. He has struck out twice. 2 of the 11 strikeouts for Pedro. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Lou Piniella was hoping that Pedro would be gone by now, being on a pitch count, but he's still in there, having just passed 100 pitches for the game. 2-0 pitch to Mabry. 2-1. Rick Sutcliffe is here with us. Rick?
Well, John and Joe, you know that game plan was also penciled in. Pedro Martinez is going to have the ultimate decision as to how far he goes, and he takes a lot of pride in giving the bullpen the day off when it's his turn to start.
First base line handled by Stanley, waving Pedro off, and that's out number 2. 2 down, nobody on. We've got an update from Bill Pito.
All right, John, thank you very much. Ken Griffey yesterday in his debut for the Reds went 0 for 2 tonight, struck out twice, went 0 for 4. Yes, Milwaukee victorious over Cincinnati. Davey Lopes, his first win as a manager in the major leagues. Final score tonight from Cincy, 5-1 in favor of Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Brewers are still making life miserable for the Reds. They made them 2 out of 3 in the final weekend of last season to necessitate the Reds having to play the Mets in that playoff game. They tied them yesterday. In fact, Davey Lopes now 1-0-1 as a big league manager. And David Bell, that's a foul off to the right. Pedro had 11 strikeouts through 5 innings in this game, but has not had a strikeout in the last 2 innings.
One of the reasons, John, is he's gone more to his breaking ball and even more to the changeup. His fastball sets up most of his strikeouts, and he hasn't used it as much the last couple of innings. He's using a little more sink action on his fastball, and he's throwing a few more changeups.
1 ball, 1 strike. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
We should have had Bud read that.
We could have asked him ourselves.
Yeah, hey, Bud, read this, or give us permission to do it. One of the two, huh?
He's the one guy who could say without permission from me. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Commissioner of Baseball, Bud Selig, was kind enough to stop by and chat with us earlier. That one driven deep into center field. Everett going back under it now. And that's it. I think there's a little wind knocking balls down to that part of the ballpark here tonight. We're going to the 8th inning. Garcia Parra coming up. Pedro and the Red Sox ahead.
Start your day with Lycos.com, the newest way to personalize your internet experience and get just what you need from the World Wide Web. Lycos. Go get it.
Imagine a place that understands you'd rather be doing anything on Saturday other than fixing your faucet. A place that knows you can't spend half the weekend shopping for your weekend projects. True Value. For the jobs you do most and look forward to least. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
Whoa! Lawn weeds, huh, Pete?
Yeah.
Try Ortho Weed Be Gone.
Weed be what?
Gone, as in out of here.
Like adios.
Weed Be Gone kills more weeds than other brands.
Really?
Even tough weeds others leave behind.
And it didn't hurt my lawn.
Ortho guarantees it. Lawn weeds? Leave it to Ortho. And only Ortho has Lock and Spray, so now applying Weed Be Gone is even easier.
Hello? Yeah, where are you? No. Excuse me, I'm working. It's the opera and I'm gonna catch a red eye tonight. Yeah. That's right. What? Ah!
Stay in touch without disturbing anyone with two-way paging and email from SkyTel, the first name in advanced messaging.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Bruins, Flyers, Saturday at 2 on ESPN2.
Here's the fogdog.com game summary. 2 runs, 6 hits for Boston. No runs, 2 hits for Seattle against Pedro Martinez as Abbott delivers ball 1 to Nomar Garciaparra. Pedro 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. In fact, meant that 2 walks. He walked the 1 man twice, Alex Rodriguez. Foul ball back and out of play. Jamie Moyer matched him 0 for 0 until the 6th inning when Troy O'Leary beat out an infield hit to drive in the first run of the game. As they Offerman doubled home the 2nd run in the 7th inning. Boston ahead 2-0 in the 8th. Garciaparra 0 for 3. Got jammed by Abbott there. Bouncing it foul. 1 and 2. He'll be followed by Stanley and then O'Leary.
John, it's interesting you made the point earlier that Garciaparra and A-Rod haven't done too well in opening days. And that's usually just the opposite. Big stars usually get off to pretty good starts. I mean, because they come out of spring training raring to go, and they usually get off to a good start. I think Frank Robinson hit most home runs, on opening day more than anyone else. I guess he hit 8. Ken Griffey Jr. had 7. I mean, a lot of great players hit a lot of home runs and got off to great starts, when they were in their first games.
Derek Lowe up in the Boston bullpen. He is the closer to start the year. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Garciaparra fouls it back. Yeah, that's a good point. Griffey, when was it, 2-3 years ago, opened up against the Yankees and hit 2 home runs against David Cone on opening night. There's that fork ball for the strikeout. Garciaparra 0 for 4 in this opening day and 1 for 17 in his 4 opening days. Well, Pedro Martinez, after finishing the 7th inning, went back in the dugout and exchanged handshakes with everybody. Now Lowe, the closer's up in the bullpen. So what does that tell you, Joe?
Well, he's still sitting there, though, so maybe they haven't decided, but he was still sitting there. It looks like he's probably going to leave.
Mike Stanley. That one almost up there to graze the rooftop, which is covering the Safeco field tonight. Cameron makes the catch. Out number 2.
John, I almost forgot something. Jeff Fry wanted me to say happy birthday to his wife, Stacy, on her birthday today, and I made the mistake. She's in Texas, and he wanted me to say happy birthday. So happy birthday, Stacy, from Jeff.
All right. Anybody else?
No, just that. Well, tomorrow's my wife's birthday, but that's another story for another time.
I have to work that into somebody else's television.
Yeah.
That's a catch over there by Carlos Guillen on Troy O'Leary's pop-up. Nice play. The Mariners are running out of outs, trailing 2-0, last of the 8th.
Watch NBA Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
Here at Cooper Tires Test Track, they're developing some pretty impressive tires.
Okay.
Record time, Mr. Palmer. Cooper Tires. Drive on.
Man, I'm hungry.
What, $1 for a sliver of raw fish?
It's sushi.
Sushi? Where I'm from, we call that stuff bait.
What else can you get for just $1?
Well, I can get a 20-minute phone call for only 99 cents.
Quit kidding around.
No, it's true. Dial 10-10-220. It's just 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes.
And just 7 cents a minute after that.
And get this, there's no monthly fee.
10-10-220 really is a great deal.
We know. Hey,
Dial 10-10-220.
Superstitious? It's a little bit strong. I mean, I do whatever I have to do to help out the team. Let's say you got a tie game, full count. Nobody's on. If I can eat a whole hot dog before the runner gets to first base, then he's coming home. In case of high-scoring games, Rolaids.
Rolaids starts to neutralize acid in less than 10 seconds, getting you back on your game fast.
Nachos, of course, are the key to a great double play.
Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief.
You know that grand slam last week?
Bonnie Blair and I don't take the same approach to investing. She looks for speed. I'm more into figures, but we do share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing Power Street by Fidelity, with information the way you want it, from real-time quotes and wireless access for those who like speed, to market analysis from Lehman Brothers for those who like figures.
Sorry, stop order.
Power Street at Fidelity.com. System availability and response time may be subject to market conditions.
Bill Pedro back in the studio yesterday. Gabe Kapler, the former Tiger, hit 2 home runs. Another guy acquired in the deal for Juan Gonzalez, Frank Palinato. There he goes. 2-run home run ties the game at 6. Texas has added 2 more. They now lead at 8-6, playing the bottom of the 6th inning.
All right, and now the Red Sox ahead 2-0, and they turn the ball over to Derek Lowe, guy who started his professional career with the Seattle Mariners. He opens this season as the Red Sox closer. That's a called strike to Dan Wilson. Carlos Guillen, the 9th place hitter, on deck, and then Mike Cameron, the leadoff man, due 3rd. Well, Pedro Martinez does it again. 108 pitches, 7 innings pitched, no runs, 2 hits allowed. Charging it short, making the play. Nomar Garcia-Parra, there's 1 away. Wilson is 0 for 3.
John, when you talk about Pedro Martinez, I thought last year his season was one of the greatest seasons ever. I always look back and thought that Bob Gibson's 1.12 earned run average that year where he started and finished most games, 68, so many shutouts, was one of the greatest ever. But last year has to maybe even be a little better simply because there's more hitting going on now than there was when, you know, Gibson was doing his thing. I mean, more runs being scored, smaller ballparks. Players are, you know, a little stronger, more offense in the game now than there was when Gibson did his. In fact, that year, after that year, they lowered the mound, you know, because the pitchers were so dominant. So I thought last year was one of the greatest years ever. And you brought up a point that I didn't even know about, and that is that he for every walk he had last year, he had 8.1, 8.5 strikeouts. That's unbelievable. A good ratio is 2 to 1, and his was 8.5 to 1. So unbelievable year last year for Pedro, and he picks up right here where he left off last year.
Well, Sandy Koufax, one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
Here's the pitch to Guillen Lowe for a ball. He's had one of the 2 Mariner hits in this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count, facing Lowe. Koufax had about 5.4 strikeouts for every walk in the years where he had over 300 strikeouts. And Pedro 8.5 for each walk.
I mean, that's amazing.
Unprecedented. I mean, there's the new Mariner closer, the top closer from the Japanese major leagues, Kazuhiro Sasaki, warming up in the Seattle bullpen. He has supplanted Jose Mesa, the Mariners closer. Second base, Offerman, and 2 men are gone here in the 8th inning. Rick Sutcliffe, who was here tonight, zeroing in on Pedro Martinez. Let's go to Rick.
Well, John and Joe, I believe that the MVP should go to an everyday player. The Cy Young Award is for a pitcher. But when you think about Pedro Martinez, it's obvious to see why he gets MVP votes. Not only does he win the day that he pitches, But the day before, Jimmy Williams, the manager, can unload the bullpen. You're not going to need them very often. And then the day after Pedro pitches, of course, the bullpen's fresh and ready to go again.
And that's a good point. As a called strike. Not that that's Rick's only good point. Several good points by Rick tonight. But, you know, that's why I always thought Dave Stewart deserved more votes in the Cy Young voting when he was the
I thought he should have won
games.
a couple times.
Well, because he didn't always have the best ERA, but he was winning 20 games and he was putting up huge inning totals. And he often helped win a lot of games for other pitchers in the staff, like Bob Welch and Storm Davis and other guys they had, who needed more help out of the bullpen than Stu needed, because the bullpen was getting the night off every time Stu pitched. I think that is not thought of enough when they vote for the Cy Young Award. I mean, you and I don't get a vote in that.
No.
I mean, what do we know about it? Especially you. 2-1 the count. Joe doesn't even think pitchers should get the Cy Young Award.
Oh, no. That's taking it a little too far. But I definitely do not. I just think that an everyday player is more valuable than a pitcher. You know, a Ken Griffey Jr. playing every day is more valuable than a pitcher, even as good as Pedro was. Because you can win more. Pedro can only help you win 30-plus ball games. I mean, 30 games if he wins every one he starts. But an everyday player can do more than that, over 152 ball games.
Cameron down on strikes. The Mariners have been shut out through 8. 2-0 Boston.
Dreyfus Premier Technology Growth Fund. The power of you, your advisor, and Dreyfus.
This family doesn't know it, but they're under a surprise attack. Termites. To help protect your home, call 1-800-TERMINEX for termite protection with Centricon. Lights out, termites. 1-800-TERMINEX. No bugs, no hassles.
Home sweet home. Home to suffocating hot spots in the living room. Cold spots that make the kitchen feel like a frozen wasteland. And air so humid that, well, stagnant would be a compliment. But that'll change when you call Lennox. We'll clean the air and make every room feel just the way you like it. Lennox, 6,000 dealers, over 100 years of service, one less thing to worry about.
Inevitably, there will come a time in your life when you realize you need a cell phone. And when that time comes, we'll be here.
Bill Pito back in the studio. Season opener for the Phillies and D-backs playing in Arizona. Damian Miller here with 2 men aboard in the bottom of the second inning. Off of Andy Ashby, the new Philly, and that one is gone. It is 3-0 D-backs in the top of the third.
All right, Bill, thank you. The Diamondbacks having to make do without Matt Williams for a while as Gary Gaetti leads off the 9th inning for the Red Sox here. Waiting for it in left field, McLemore. One gone. Former Ranger Mark McLemore in his first game with his new ball club. Jason Varitek coming up now. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the most complete baseball coverage on the internet. Check it out. Joe and I went over and met all the folks at ESPN.com today. You're really getting to be one of those .comers now, Joe. I can tell.
Yeah, that's right.
Joe walked through the door, and 3 seconds later, they had his lifetime stats up on the screen. And, you know, I looked at those, Joe, and I know they do a great job at ESPN.com, but they had some terrible mistakes in there. They had some ridiculous numbers for you. They had several years where you walked 100 times, you drove in 100 runs.
Well, that was...
I was embarrassed.
I actually had them print that up beforehand.
I was thinking, man, only a Hall of Famer would have had numbers like that.
One of these days, I'm going to learn how to do all that. Probably when I just retire and kick back.
Joe keeps saying, as soon as they come out with a computer that you can use right in your own home.
Voice, no, the one.
Then I'll buy one.
Yeah, voice activated.
Like they have in the Star Trek movies.
Right. Find me the stats on Babe Ruth, game 12, 19, whatever.
Jason Varitek is gone. Bell throws him out. 2 down, and Darren Lewis comes up. By the way, this is Lou Pinella's son, Derek's 21st birthday. And Lou, you know, an outstanding Major League ball player in his time. His son, Derek, played in that outstanding Virginia Tech football team that made it to the national championship game against Florida State. So happy birthday to Derek Pinella. He is a Hokie. Darren Lewis, shallow center. It's a base hit. First hit of the game for D-Lou. Darren Lewis, the 13th different starting right fielder for the Red Sox in the last 13 years. They've not had a guy start right field on opening day for 2 consecutive years since Dwight Evans was on the ball.
Man.
Darren Lewis, by the way, Dusty Baker, Giants manager. Darren Lewis is one of his favorite people in the world, Joe. Not favorite ball players, but favorite people.
Right.
Dusty and his wife, Melissa, had a baby last year, a young son. They named him Darren. Yeah,
I remember that.
Coming up next, Sports Center with Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott. A lot of goings on in baseball. Ken Griffey Jr. in his actual first game yesterday. They ended up in a tie, and the game got rained out in the 6th inning. The Reds and the Brewers, they'll have highlights and everything else that went on in the day in baseball on Sports Center coming up next. Offerman the hitter, 2 down, runner at first. Now, by the way, the last of the 9th inning against Derek Lowe, the Mariners will give it their best shot. They've got McLemore, then Alex Rodriguez, and John Olerud. And if anybody gets on, Edgar Martinez due up. And for that matter, they still got Jay Buhner on the bench.
Now that Pedro's gone.
Down the right field line. Mabry. Nice catch. The sign is retired. McLemore, Alex Rodriguez, John Olerud, then Edgar if somebody gets on. Last chance for the Mariners.
Today, people are sending video mail
instead of email.
This year, the internet will allow
millions of businesses to make phone calls for free.
One day, a business not on the internet will not be in business.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Virtually all internet traffic travels across the systems of one company, Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
Are you ready?
Are you?
We want the kids to appreciate nature.
And springtime is absolutely perfect for that.
They love to fish. They love to go bike riding. Is this a good one? I do all my shopping at Walmart.
Sleeping bags, stoves, lanterns. It's almost like having your home out in the camping area.
They've got everything you need for the yard.
And my golf game.
I don't know if they have everything you need for that.
We know that they have what we're looking for. You know you can't beat the prices.
All kinds of fresh ideas to welcome spring at your neighborhood Walmart.
This is just the best time of year.
Hello?
Yeah, where are you?
No. Excuse me, I'm working. It's the opera and I'm gonna catch a red eye tonight, yeah.
That's right. What?
Stay in touch without disturbing anyone with 2-way paging and email from SkyTel, the first name in advanced messaging.
Last of the 9th inning, the Red Sox 2, the Mariners nothing. Derek Lowe back out to face the toughest Mariner hitters in the batting order, trying to save this one for Pedro Martinez. The 3rd opening day assignment for Pedro since he came to Boston. And amazingly, in all 3 of his opening day starts with the Red Sox, he's had 11 strikeouts. In 1998, 11 strikeouts in 7 innings against Oakland without allowing a run. Last year, 11 strikeouts against Kansas City in an opening day win. And then 11 in 7 innings tonight And it's starting to become a habit with Pedro. Talking about a guy rising to the occasion on opening day with all those hitters who over the years did so well. Well, now McLemore, his job is to get on base in front of Alex Rodriguez, who would then become the possible tying run. That's in there for a strike. That's a veteran hitter, though, Joe. Taking pitches.
Well, he can't hit a two-run homer with no one on base, so he's a smart hitter, trying to get on base any way that he can.
The curve misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Red Sox bullpen is busy. Back up low. Not that they're figuring on using it. Right to first. Stanley will take it. 1 away.
So far in this ball game, the thing that Lowe has done so well is get out in front of every hitter. He's been throwing strikes, and then that lets him dictate from that point on.
Tim Wakefield, the knuckleballer up in the bullpen, although he's not happy about being in the bullpen. They think he might ask to be traded. When they moved into the bullpen after acquiring Pete Short the other day, he said, nothing against Pete, but why is it always me that's the sacrificial lamb? Now Alex Rodriguez. A called strike. You get the third baseman, Valentin, playing very deep. And he is a guy who can bunt, knowing that they need a base runner. Olerud and then Edgar, the next 2 hitters. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Olerud on deck. The Mariners have not had a hit since the 4th inning, when Olerud singled against Pedro Martinez. They've only had 2 hits in the game. Slider just off the outside. 2-1.
I think the first month is going to be very key for Alex Rodriguez and the Mariners, because he's going to have to adjust to people pitching around him in certain situations, and we'll see if he can remain patient in those situations. This, is, of course, is a different situation. Now he wants to try to get on base any way he can, but there are going to be a lot of times when they get the first 2 guys out in the first inning and they're not going to pitch to him, and we'll just have to see if he remains patient at that point or if he starts to go out of the strike zone.
Well, and especially if this keeps happening as the season goes along.
And it's going to happen.
It'll play on a guy's mind.
Yes, it will. And it's very difficult to, he's always had the protection of Junior behind him. And now, all of a sudden, Junior's not there. And the pitchers are going to pitch to him differently.
He's already walked twice in this game. Easy play. O'Leary's got it. 2 down.
I don't doubt that he's going to have a great year. I don't doubt that he's going to hit a lot of home runs, do all the things that he normally does. I just think that there are going to be times when he's going to have to change his approach, because they're just not going to pitch to him, and he's just going to have to take those walks and go to first base.
Well, I remember 3 years ago, it was really playing on Barry Bonds' mind.
Right.
He was just walking all the time. And in the same year, Gary Sheffield getting almost as many walks with the Marlins. It was driving him nuts, really to distraction.
Right.
Sheffield had one of his worst years that year.
It was tough to adjust to.
John Olerud, last chance. Right there is Garcia Parra. And the ball game is over. The Red Sox behind their ace, Pedro Martinez, who picks right up where he left off a year ago for the 3rd consecutive opening day. 11 strikeouts and a victory for Pedro. The Red Sox, who were shut down for most of the night by Jamie Moyer, got more than enough. 2. That's all they got, but that was more than they needed. They beat the Mariners 2-0. Don't forget now, our season premiere of our 11th Sunday night baseball season. Sunday night, the Cleveland Indians and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays from St. Petersburg. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with Baseball Tonight. We'll see you then. The final score here, 2-0. The Red Sox over the Mariners. Stay tuned now for SportsCenter coming up next. Good night from Seattle. John Miller for Joe Morgan and Rick Sutcliffe. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.